What is up, and welcome to the Fantasy Endgame. I am Pierre. He is Chris. It is time to talk trades and waiver wire pickups. Tuesday, a lot of waivers run, so we're here to help you with those tough decisions. Getting tougher, of course, as the weeks go on. Also, very important to note that this might be for some of you the last week to even talk trade because for some leagues, the trade deadline for fantasy is this week. I think, am I right that the Yahoo, the kind of standard is now right before week 11?
I think so. I think for Yahoo, Sleeper, that's really all I play in. I don't play in ESPN, so I'm not sure. But I think most leagues, this is the trade deadline for most leagues. Yes.
And so it depends. A lot of commissioners will set their own. Check your league settings, which, by the way, if you don't know when your league's trade deadline is, might want to look into that. That's pretty important. But find out. But for a lot of you, this is your last chance to make those deals that could swing the tide in your favor. Buy low on some players or just look ahead. And what we did this week, Chris, very smartly looking ahead to the playoffs because, of course, we're optimistic. You're all going to make the playoffs. And if you're not, then it really doesn't matter anyways. But looking at the playoff schedules, who's going to really help you when it matters most? Because, again, it's funny. I heard a lot of people, Chris, in the Discord and asking questions like, man, I really need to win this week. Should I trade away Etienne or should I, do this because I need someone this week? I mean, I get it if you're desperate and you feel like you're not even going to make the playoffs, but you have to look long term, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Like if you're like, I think some people like look at their record and they're like, I'm 5-5. I have to win now. I'm like, you don't have to win now. I mean, you don't want to lose, but at the same time, like 5-6, you're not eliminated. You know what I mean? You're not eliminated. So yeah, if you're sitting there at 3 wins or something, and if you lose this week, you pretty much are eliminated. Then yeah, you got a guy like Etienne on the bye, and you could trade him for a running back who's good enough this week and good enough going forward. Then I get it. But yeah, sometimes I think people get a little too like, oh my God, if I don't win this week, it's over.
I mean, it's possible. Look, if you have like 3 or 4 wins, then yeah, you really need to win this week. But again, don't give up a good player just for anybody because you feel like desperate. You might win with a guy on bye. You never know. You never know. So anyways, we're going to help you. That's why we're here. So we're going to answer as many of your comments and questions as possible in the chat. Don't forget, the best way to guarantee that we get to your question, because we get a lot of them, is the super chat feature. Already got a couple rolling in. So that means we will guaranteed answer it, and we'll try to get them in order. We'll of course, answer regular chat questions as well. But we'll be here for a while, but we're going to get a lot of questions, and that's just the way it goes. So don't forget, if you want to ask questions any time of the day, any time of the year, join the Discord. It's completely free. And again, 24/7, 365. Can't guarantee that we're both online 24/7, but we're on there every single day and we answer as many questions as we can. And you can also get advice from all the other people in our wonderful Endgame community. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe. I mean, that's only logical if you're watching here. We will be also here on Saturday night to answer your start sit questions. We go live for 3 hours there as well. So join us for that. And last but not least, although sadly still not quite sponsored by Bang, we're still working on that. But we are sponsored by Manscaped. Manscaped.com. Guys, anything that you purchase on there, use promo code ENDGAME. You can get the performance package, which I think we can both attest to is worth it. I mean, you might look and you say, I don't know. It's beautiful packaging. Everything is just, it's so high quality. Honestly, I was pleasantly surprised. I wasn't really sure, but you agree with me, of course, Beard. I'm sure you use the beard trimmer and the.
Yeah, I'm gonna get the beard trimmer from them. They didn't send me that, unfortunately, but everything else they sent, is great. Like you said, the packaging top notch, quality top notch. Yeah, I was very impressed. Very impressed.
Actually, there's a ton of products, things I didn't even know they have. My wife does YouTube also for like perfume and cologne. She's got a channel. It's called Velma's Essence. They have a cologne. Did you know? Manscaped cologne. Why not?
Why not?
Take a shot on that. But anyways, use that promo code. It helps us out too. And that's something we would definitely appreciate. All right, so let's start it off first with shout out to the first comment here. Eddie B, let's go. Let's fire it up. For some of you, This is it. This is going to be your last chance. Let's do the first trade. Well, not even a question. This is something that already went down. DeQuavis Ewing traded Mostert and Mixon for Walker and Najee. How do you think he did?
I think he did well. I think whatever you think of Najee, I still like him more than Mostert. Mostert now just kind of like, right, one of those like handcuffs that you can play if you need them, but that's really it because Jeff Wilson pretty much had the lion's share of the work last week. And I probably like Walker more than Mixon rest of the season, only because if you saw my video, Mixon has such a brutal playoff schedule. What is it? New England, Buffalo, and Tampa Bay are his 3 playoff matchups, like 3 of the 5 toughest run defenses possible. Yeah, so I think you won on both sides with Walker and Najee here.
Look, Najee Harris, we talked about this. Probably people don't even realize he almost had a 100-yard game, and he was, barely almost there. The whole thing, Jalen Warren's going to get more involved. Yeah, he wasn't. Okay, he was. I mean, he caught a few passes, but still, it was all Najee on the ground pretty much. Definitely Mostert. I mean, I can't even believe he's just kind of being phased out at this point. He's still got some value. Like, you don't have to drop him, but yeah, to trade and to get Najee, that's a win-win. I think this is a pretty clear win. Eat more children. Again, one of our favorite users here. Traded James Conner for Higgins.
That's a huge win. Conner, another guy with a tough playoff schedule. Does have a nice week 17 if you can get there, but still, Higgins, regardless of schedule, Higgins, that's a huge win. Huge win.
We've talked about Conner as being a guy, to sell on. And look, some people, they cut Eno Benjamin. So what? Like that's not going to be something that's like this big factor to swing in Connor's favor. He was never really a threat. He only played because Connor was hurt. I'd definitely rather have Higgins. All right, here's a big one. 50 Nick, league-breaking trade. I like those. Waddle, Evans, and Rondale and Schultz.
Wow.
For the Patriots, I guess the defense, Amari, Mark Andrews, and McLaurin.
I think I prefer the Waddle Evans side. Yeah. Like the Patriots defense, like it's kind of like okay, like
the defense,
whatever. Cooper, I mean, I prefer Evans over Cooper. I certainly prefer Andrews over Schultz. But then you look at like McLaurin. I mean, I prefer Waddle way over McLaurin, and I'll prefer Rondale Moore over a defense for sure. So. Yeah, I like the Waddle Evans side better.
Yeah, I definitely like the first side better. I mean, not sure which side you got. Hopefully the first one. It's not like a hugely lopsided. Like it's not bad if you got the second side. Mark Andrews, obviously, you got that tight end there. McLaurin is looking a lot better these days, and I like him a lot this week too. But that's definitely going to be a game changer for sure. All right, what is up, Joe? Always with us every day of the week. We're on Tuesdays, Saturday, and Sunday for the Patreon show, which, by the way, I don't even know if I mentioned, if you want to be a patron, you can join us Sunday mornings, patreon.com/fantasyfootballendgame, and I'm pretty sure the link is down below. You can click on that and check it out. So what is Justin Fields' trade about? So many questions. I think out of all the trade questions we've seen in the Discord, and I'm sure a lot we're going to see tonight, pretty much 3/4 of them have Justin Fields involved somewhere. Some people, this is the time to sell high. I'm going to give him away. I don't need him. And some people are trying to get him. Like, where do you put him realistically?
Yeah, I mean, if I had Justin Fields, and let's say I had somebody like Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, like maybe you added Justin Fields when they were on bye or something, right? I would absolutely be trying to trade Justin Fields right now because his value is way, way higher than it should be for a quarterback. Like you could go out and get like a solid wide receiver right now or a solid running back right now, to some quarterback needy team. Now, if I'm on the other side and I'm trying to get Justin Fields or I'm thinking about trading Justin Fields, I'm not overpaying for Justin Fields, okay? Because people are going to ask for the moon. Now, I'd be willing to trade a good player for Justin Fields if I got a decent player in return, if that makes sense. So if I was trading let's say I was trading they wanted a good running back, like maybe Dameon Pierce, which I would never trade Dameon Pierce straight up for Justin Fields. But if I really needed a quarterback, if I could get in return, maybe say a decent wide receiver like an Allen Lazard or somebody like that, then I'd be willing to move a player like Dameon Pierce to get Fields and, like I said, like a lower tier player, but somebody who could still be in my starting lineup. So, like, I'm never going to go like, I'm not going to trade Kenneth Walker for Justin Fields straight up, or like Travis Etienne straight up for Justin Fields. Never going to do that.
Right. And even if you're, really bad at quarterback, you've got a guy who struggled, like, I don't know, let's just pretend you drafted Matt Stafford and you've been starting him and like there's nobody else to pick up. And, like your best option out there is like Daniel Jones. You're like, that could be a game changer for me. It could be. But if you give up your RB1, then it's really not changing the game. It's just you're just swapping positions, value. So it's not really helping your team unless you happen to have 3 stud running backs. It always depends, right? It always depends on the league and the size and your roster. All right. So Eddie Nono said, took your advice. Let's see what it was. Traded Mixon, Chase, and DJ Moore for Henry, Sutton, Pittman, and White.
I would have preferred you kept Chase. Getting rid of DJ Moore, totally fine with that. You got back some nice pieces. I like that you got Henry from Mixon. That's great because, again, talked about Mixon has that brutal playoff schedule. Henry gets the Chargers. He's going to destroy them. He gets the Texans, who he went for 200 yards against. And then he gets Dallas, who actually gave up a lot of rushing yards to Aaron Jones this past week. So he has a great schedule. Giving up Chase kind of stings, though, because I do think he will be back soon, and when he's back, I think he'll be fine. But you got Sutton, you got Pittman, you got White, so you got some potential there. So I think this is pretty fair. It seems pretty fair to me.
Yeah, really, it comes down to Chase, right? When is he coming back? We're hearing he's still on crutches. Obviously, not coming back this week. Probably not next week. If he comes back right in time for the playoffs, like week 14. And yeah, you might be regretting this a little bit, but who knows? You don't know how these things go. Rehab could not go as planned. So, if Chase does come back in time for the playoffs and does anything close to what he did last year during the end of the season, yeah, you'll regret it. But otherwise, I think it's pretty good. I think it's solid. Solid deal here. Peanut butter jelly time in the house. Mike Williams was dropped. Do you pick him up?
Yes. Yeah. Pick him up over Tony for sure. Definitely. Good chance he's back this week. Gets KC. They have a pretty good schedule all the way till like week 17, I think. So definitely pick up Mike Williams.
This begs the question, why did somebody have Mike Williams while he was hurt and then right before he comes back, drop him? Like, why did they drop Mike Williams? I don't know. People, yeah. All right. So here we go. Who do you prioritize on the waiver wire? I know I talked about Pacheco. Didn't talk about Brian Robinson. You guys know the waiver wire video comes out on Monday, a little bit before Monday Night Football. Did not expect the Brian Robinson breakout game. But how much are you reading into this?
Not a lot. They obviously, like Ron Rivera even said, they looked at the tape and said, look, our only chance is to run the ball. And they didn't even run it. What did he average? 3.3 yards per carry? He was terrible. He just got 26 carries, which, hey, if you tell me Brian Robinson is going to get 26 carries every week, okay, but he's not. He's just not. And Pacheco has looked good. He's taken over that backfield. It's a way better offense. He's going to have way more opportunities to score. Like, what did Brian Robinson do outside of that touchdown? What did he have, like 80 yards or something? Did he even have 100 yards last night on 26 carries? I don't even think he hit 100 yards, did he?
I think he barely did.
Maybe he barely touched on. I don't think so. But regardless, I would rather have Pacheco. He's in a way better offense.
Oh no, he didn't.
Yeah,
he got 86
yards. Yeah, like with 26 carries, can't even hit 100 yards. And I'm taking Pacheco is what I'm trying to say.
And yeah, I would too. The only factor here is it just so happens that Brian Robinson, the Commanders next week face the worst run defense in the entire league, and that's Houston. Anybody could run backwards and put up 100 yards on Houston, but it's still, again, I'm thinking long term here. This week,
exactly,
I might have Robinson higher, but probably rest of the season.
Don't forget Pacheco gets the Chargers this week, so it's not like Pacheco's gonna get shut down,
which is the second worst run defense in the league.
Yeah.
So yeah, bottom line, it's Pacheco.
Yeah.
Here's an easy one. Stanley, who's always with us. Welcome back, Stanley. Lost Dallas Goddard. I know that hurts. Do you pick up Komet right now? Do it right
Definitely.
now.
Yeah, definitely pick up.
And a lot of people asking, as far as Komet, like we lost a lot of big tight ends this week. Just so happens Zach Ertz out for the season. Dallas Goddard now out multiple weeks. You're needing a tight end. If Komet is out there, he's number one. I'll just go ahead and answer that right now. He's your number one target.
Yeah.
Higbee looks interesting now too. Here's a question from Corey Dakers. Komet over even Dalton Schultz?
No, I can't do that. Like, Dalton Schultz so involved in the passing game. He's basically the number 2 target on the Dallas offense. This is still like, yes, Komet is scoring touchdowns, and the Lions left him like uncovered for a 50-yard touchdown. It's not like Komet is out here catching like 5 or 6 passes every week. He's scoring touchdowns, and maybe he'll keep scoring touchdowns, but he's not giving you like a ton outside of touchdowns, not a lot of receptions. I got Dalton Schultz as a top 5 tight end rest of the season. Komet probably inside the top 10 now, but Schultz top 5.
Well, that's the thing. Look, Goddard now is not in the top anything because he's out. Who knows how long? Ertz now. I mean, the top 10 tight ends is actually a really scary list. If you look at who's at the bottom of that list, I mean, Evan Ingram is like a lock for that list, but just because he's actually getting targets. But I'd say right now, like, you have to say Schultz is a top 5 tight end. I guess you don't have to, but I do, and I know you do. I put him at like number 6. I think he's right there in the conversation, but I have him behind Schultz. All right, Joe Castles, lost Goddard and Everett. That's impressive. And Everett again, a guy who we don't know if he's going to play this week. We'll see. So who do we like for streaming? Well, I already mentioned if Komet happens to be out there, you get Komet.
Yeah.
If Higbee's out there, he's a strong option. Who else we got at tight end? That's
Foster Moreau might still be out there.
Foster Moreau.
Hayden Hurst might have been dropped during the bye.
Good one. Yeah, Hayden Hurst. And because Jamar Chase still out. And this one's a deeper sleeper. I mentioned that Trey McBride is now the starting tight end in Arizona. Look, he's a rookie. Yep. We don't know yet, but he's somebody who, for the deeper leagues, might be an option. Frosif. I offered Foreman for Connor. What do you think?
It's like the same guy for me. Like, there's just volume-based backs who need touchdowns. Well, yeah, whatever. Like, I don't like this. This doesn't do anything for me. Like maybe I slightly prefer Connor because he's on the Cardinals and not the Panthers, but yeah, that's like barely prefer Connor, I guess.
Yeah, I'd give the slight edge to Connor. Again, this isn't really. It's mostly a lateral move.
Yeah. I
think in PPR, a slight edge to Connor because he does catch some passes. And, of course, Eno being gone. I mean, I don't think that's a big difference. But, look, maybe they rely more on Connor now that Ertz is gone, right? And maybe that's a commitment to the running game now because they saw him look good last week. But, I mean, it's fine.
Yeah.
You didn't lose it. Welcome back. Big Luscious, always here to chat. All right, so quarterback, Kirk Cousins, Henry, Jones, Pierce, Dillon, Higgins, Lockett, Olave, OBJ, Brandon Cooks. You got Kittle, Folk, and Cardinals. All right, so what can we do to make this team better, or do we not need to do anything?
I'd like to be a little better at wide receiver if I could. So, I don't know. This might be a good time to package, Lockett. It seems like he scores a touchdown every week. But even last week, he had a touchdown and really didn't give you a whole lot, but he still has some good value. Maybe if you could package him and Pierce or him and Aaron Jones and get, a really good, wide receiver, like one of the guys I talked about in the video, like you're not going to get like CeeDee Lamb anymore or Devontae Adams because they're coming off big games, but you can get like a Mike Evans, who I really like rest of the season. They have a good schedule. Brady and the whole offense looked better before the bye. I think it looks better after the bye. He'd be like a guy I'd be trying to look at, somebody like that.
Yeah, and I look, you have 3 good running backs. I don't mess with that. I just leave it alone because Dillon is really just your handcuff, right? It's good to have him because you have Jones, but don't trade Pierce, don't trade Jones. Just keep those guys because you're going to need them. The one I wonder about here is Olave because, I mean, really should be doing better. He's got, the peripherals say he should be putting up better numbers. This whole offense is underachieved. They might go back to Jameis Winston, which is promising, but I mean, at this point, we kind of expected to be a lock as a wide receiver too, and he kind of hasn't been. So, do you hold him and just hope that things turn around? Or
Well, the thing is, like, I know I guess in like a lot of leagues, like I see trades where it's like wide receiver for wide receiver, and I'm like, what's the point? But I know it happens a lot. It's just hard for me to think like, oh, if I go offer somebody Chris Olave for Mike Evans, like, are they going to actually say yes? Like, because I would never say yes to that. Like,
no, probably not.
If you offered like Damian Pierce for Mike Evans, they're going to say yes. So it's hard to. So if you need to upgrade wide receiver, it's hard to trade a wide receiver or just a wide receiver. That's why I was saying, like, if you could do like Lockett or I guess Olave or maybe even Cooks. With
he has any trade value.
I don't know.
Yeah. No, I'm just wondering. And Olave, yeah, who's taking him now? Because his value now all of a sudden is much lower. So, all right, let's throw that out there. All right, Evans, Sanchez. Here's the spicy one. I know Roberto would be proud of this. Traded Waddle, Kelsey, and Cousins for the Sun God, Fields, Goddard. Ouch, bad timing.
Oh.
Okay, but you got Schultz at least.
Oh man. Think? Well, if Goddard was healthy, it wouldn't have been so bad. But you basically like, man. I mean, this is just bad luck, right? This is bad luck. But I mean, even still, like, I don't know if it's bad luck or maybe this was not a great trade because you traded Waddle for Sun God, and in a vacuum, I prefer Waddle over Sun God. But again, Waddle has, if you watch that video, what do they go like on the road to Buffalo in December? Then they're home against Green Bay, who has a good secondary. And then they're on the road in New England week 17. Like, those could be terrible weather games, great passing defenses. You got to be a little nervous for the Miami passing game. And I know you've even talked about this, Pierre, in the fantasy playoffs. But man, going from Kelsey to Goddard, that's even for as good as Goddard's been, that's a pretty big drop. And then you get Fields for Cousins. I don't know. I probably would have preferred the Waddle, Kelsey, Cousins side even before Goddard's injury, but it's not terrible. I mean, you get a QB upgrade, and I think Sun God will be just good enough, I guess I'll say.
I mean, look, the way I look at it is Waddle and St. Brown. It's pretty close. I slightly prefer Waddle. Of course, if you saw a couple weeks ago, we had our top 10 rest of the season list for receivers. Couldn't put the Sun God in just yet. Waddle was in there for both of us, but it's pretty close. And then basically you're upgrading a quarterback with Fields over Cousins, and then downgrading a tight end. And even with Schultz, like, you're fine at tight ends. Look, if Fields is the QB1 the rest of the season and does exactly what he's been doing, you might win this trade. So that's basically what it comes down to. Overall, I don't think it would have been a win necessarily, whether Goddard was hurt or not, but that's it. You're taking a chance on Fields, and you know what? It might pay off. Don't know. All right, great story, bro. Someone offered Chris Godwin for T. Higgins.
I definitely want T. Higgins. Definitely want T. Higgins.
Look, Godwin finally scored, but we talk about it. He's basically a floor play at this point. Even if Chase comes back, Higgins is pretty much a wide receiver one. Angel wants to know, traded DK Metcalf for Jamal Williams. Did I make a mistake?
I think so. I mean, I don't think it's a huge mistake. Like, DK Metcalf hasn't been like incredible this year. He's been good, but not like incredible. The problem is Jamal Williams, even when DeAndre Swift is either not playing or extremely limited, has also not been incredible. He's been pretty underwhelming. I mean, unless he scores 2 touchdowns, right? The games where he doesn't score touchdowns, or even the games where he scores 1 touchdown, he's been pretty underwhelming, honestly. So, and there's always the risk that, as the season goes on, so does Swift's workload, so does his snaps, so does his usage, and that means less for Jamal. So I think you made a mistake, but not a huge mistake.
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather have DK Metcalf for sure. You know what? If Swift does get hurt again, which is very possible, and what Williams is just the guy, and you needed a running back, then maybe it's fine for you. It's not a huge mistake or anything, but yeah, like right now, here and now, I would rather have Metcalf, but it's okay. Off the chain. looking for some advice. Here's the team. Got Josh Allen, Devontae, A.J. Brown, Gabe Davis, Pickens, stashing Odell, Williams, and Marquise. Okay, so you're good. Wide receiver. Got Aaron Jones, DeAndre Swift, Patterson, Pollard. Trade or waiver advice. What do you do with this squad?
Well, it's hard to give waiver advice without knowing who's out there. If you watch Pierre's waiver wire video, you kind of know who, we were targeting on most waiver wires. You never know who's out there, right?
Yeah.
We just had somebody ask about Mike Williams. You never. That's why I'll say this is something I always do before I set my waivers. I always go first, and I sort by roster percentage, and I just check real quick. Is there somebody on the waiver wire who shouldn't be? Because most people just look at the transaction trends, who's trending up or down. But sometimes you'll find some hidden gems that maybe got dropped a week or two ago. Nobody realized it. You're like, wait, this guy's on the waiver. Why is this guy on the waiver wire? But anyways, as far as trades go, I mean, you got Josh Allen. You're not doing anything in there. You got Adams, A.J. Brown, Gabe Davis, Pickens. Not really worried about that. You got Aaron Jones, Swift, Pat, Pollard. Yeah, I mean, you definitely could use some help at running back. Swift kind of let you down, right? You got Marquise Brown stashed. Maybe this is a good time to try to trade. Maybe try to package Gabe Davis and Tony Pollard and get a stud running back. Go get it. See, maybe the team that has Kenneth Walker has to win this week. They have to win. Go give them Gabe Davis and Tony Pollard.
Or Etienne. Etienne coming off a down game and on bye. Somebody might be desperate, and they're like, fine, take Etienne. I'll take – look, Pollard just had a huge game.
Yeah, him too. Good. Yeah, definitely.
So, when you said that, immediately my eyes went to Tony Pollard because this is time to sell high on him because he needs – look, when Zeke's gone, he's great. Zeke's coming back, unfortunately. I would do that. You don't need Pollard as a starter. I would try to trade Pollard and package with, probably Gabe Davis. Smart. Kyle Burks, what is up? Do I pick up? All I see is the last part. Go Fins. Okay. Do I pick up Allen Robinson? I mean,
I think he's worth adding depending on who else is on the waiver wire, of course, because I certainly could see a path where Ben Skoranek is Allen Robinson is getting 5 targets and Ben Skoranek's getting 9 and Tyler Higbee's getting 9. And we're like, what is going on? And what is going on with this offense? But he's certainly worth adding and seeing how he's used this week and seeing if his target share does go up or not. Because we know, look, Kupp is out at least 4 weeks, probably more. He's having surgery on the ankle, so it's probably going to be more than 4 weeks.
Oh, yeah.
So I think he's worth adding if he's out there, definitely.
And look, their most valuable player, he is, Aaron Donald. But then Cooper Kupp, most valuable player on offense, they're not making the playoffs. And he's out for 4 weeks. 4 weeks from now, what do you think they're going to do with Kupp? Hey, let's throw him out there in the last couple of weeks and see what he does. I think they're just going to shut him down, honestly. I would be shocked if they didn't. So, it's sad, but you're just going to have to be prepared for life without Kupp. Robinson, you can't expect too much, but maybe this is where he pays off for you. So I think he's definitely worth picking up if you're not dropping anybody really good to get him. But, yeah.
And he's asking, does he start Lamar or Fields?
Oh, yeah. No, we'll do all the start-sit questions. We usually do Saturday, but let's go to it now. Do you bench Lamar for Fields? I do. I'm going to go with Fields until he proves he's not the QB1.
This week, yes. As long as he's got these smash matchups, I think you just roll with Fields, yes.
I'm rolling with Fields. And Lamar's missing a lot of weapons. Andrews should be back, but he's still banged up. He's not 100%. All right, Brandon Warren. Thank you, sir, for the chat. So you got Dotson on your bench and Terry making claims for a couple of players. Is Dawson worth keeping? So some of those claims are Collins, Jalen Warren, and Paris Campbell.
Yeah, I don't think you have to keep Dotson over any of those guys. Yeah, I would add any of those guys over Dotson. I'm just trying to think who I probably like Paris Campbell the best. Not this week because it's the Eagles. Although, look, they didn't. They were bad against the run last night. They didn't really get torched through the air too badly. But that was Taylor Heineke as well. But I think Paris Campbell has the most value going forward with Matt Ryan now. We saw it even before they benched Matt Ryan. he was getting a steady target share. Warren, just a handcuff. I do like Nico Collins, but he's got Davis Mills. He's going to be very up and down. So I think I would drop Dotson for Campbell.
Yeah, I like Campbell the best. I did mention him on the waiver video. I mean, Warren, it's always smart to have those handcuffs. Of course, you might watch last week's video. We talked about him and some others. I love Terry this week. Dotson, we'll see. I mean, his connection was really with Carson Wentz because that's when he was healthy. That's when they were both healthy. So you don't have to hold Dotson, long story short. Johnny, always with us. What's up, Johnny? Drop Jay Williams, guessing Jamal Williams for Eli Mitchell. Good or bad?
I think it's good because, again, like, first of all, if this is really true and Elijah Mitchell and CMC are going to actually split reps, then Mitchell has pretty much as much value as Jamal Williams right now, right? Because he's in a way better offense, a way better running game, and he's better than Jamal Williams. He just is. But if Christian McCaffrey goes down, Elijah Mitchell is going to win fantasy leagues. There's no doubt about that. He will win fantasy leagues, no question. We've already seen Jamal Williams without DeAndre Swift. He wasn't incredibly better. He wasn't going to win anybody a league. He's a starting running back, but that's it. Like, he had 2 games where he only had like 5 points without DeAndre Swift. You know what I mean? Like, his role doesn't significantly change without DeAndre Swift. He just gets like maybe 4 or 5 more carries, and that's it. So I think, yes, I would prefer Mitchell over Jamal Williams.
Yeah, better situation. You know, they're pretty similar to me, but I think it's overall it's pretty good. You got more upside. That's what we're chasing. Who's got more upside? Like you just explained it to Mitchell. And then Daniel Cardenas, would you go Rashad over Cordero?
I mean, are you asking about? Well, I assume you're asking on waiver wire. I think I have to. Like,
yeah.
Like, what's the upside for Patterson? Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, he can always score a touchdown a lot, but so can White. Rashad White can score touchdowns too. It's not like he can't score touchdowns. And I just think there's just way more upside with Rashad White, and that's what you're looking for this time of year. Because if you should have a team, like your team, if you're gonna make the playoffs, you should be feeling like your team is good, right? You have a good team. Maybe you don't have like the best team, but you have a good team. You shouldn't be like chasing guys who maybe can get you like a decent amount of points. You should be chasing guys who could potentially take your team from a good team to a great team or a championship team. And I just don't think Patterson has that path, but Rashad White does. So I would prefer White.
Well, and here's the thing with Patterson. Look, his season high in carries and touches was week 1. He had a monster week 1, we all remember. And then in the 2 games since he's come back from injury, 13 carries, 5 carries.
Yeah.
Rashad White had more than that, almost, I think as many as those combined last week. He's a rookie. I trust White better. And because it's not like the Falcons are just riding Cordero Patterson. That's kind of a committee too, to some extent. So, all right, Sun AAA, need a flex. A-Rob, Christian Watson, who all of a sudden is interesting, Rondell Moore, or Eli Mitchell. All of these are on waivers. Okay, so who you got?
Well, it's half PPR. I mean, I like Watson this week. I like Moore this week. I even kind of like Mitchell this week, but man. I mean, if you're gonna pick somebody up off waivers, I'd want to pick a guy up off waivers who I feel good about rest of the season too. Like, not a guy I'm just gonna pick up and then like drop next week. So that probably eliminates Rondell Moore for me because Marquise Brown coming back at some point. I just don't see how Rondell Moore keeps up this crazy target share when they have DeAndre Hopkins, Marquise Brown, and Rondell Moore out there. I mean, losing Zach Ertz helps, but he's the guy I'm kind of lowest on. Plus, they get Denver and Tampa Bay first 2 weeks of the playoffs. That's not very exciting. So it's close for me between Watson and Elijah Mitchell. I guess it comes down to, do you believe that this was the Watson breakout and now he's going to be like this year's Amon-Ra St. Brown and he's going to just go off the rest of the season? Or do you just believe that it was like a one-game wonder and he's going to go back to being? And I did see today that they opened up Randall Cobb's window to come off of IR. So that may hurt him a bit going forward. I don't know. I'd probably go Elijah Mitchell.
All right. I'm gonna say here. Look, as far as Allen Robinson, fine to pick up, but I won't put him over these guys just
No.
because that offense is so bad. I've come around on Rondale Moore, and look, the Zach Ertz injury is just going to keep his value high until Hollywood comes back.
Yeah.
That's still going to be a couple weeks away. For this week, he's fine. But I'm chasing the upside, and it's half PPR, which dings Rondale a little bit. You're going to take on the risk, but look, you're grabbing someone off waivers to throw him in your flex spot. You're taking a shot anyways here. So I say I go Watson, not because I'm expecting 3 touchdowns, but on paper, he has by far the best matchup. Goes against that Tennessee secondary. I mean, look, maybe he doesn't hit on a long touchdown pass, but you give it a chance, right? You give it a chance because I don't see a big game in store for Rondale Moore. I don't see a big game for Allen Robinson. Mitchell is probably a safer play, but again, we're assuming that San Francisco is just going to roll on offense, and that run defense for the Chargers is really bad. I think that contributed to Eli Mitchell looking really good last week. So if it's me, I'm going for the upside. I'll go Watson. Joe's telling us he has Lamar. All right. Was that a follow-up to the previous one?
I still like Lamar this week. We still have a Lamar as a must-start quarterback. It's not like we're down on him, but
yeah, no, I guess I say all the weapons, whatever. Look, Lamar, you're fine with Lamar Jackson. If you have Fields, though, I go Fields.
Yeah.
And then trigger trade, Dulcich or Komet if Andrews is out. Let's do that.
Definitely Komet. Definitely Komet. I might add Komet anyways, even if you have Andrews, assuming you have somebody on your bench that you don't need. Just because, we saw, with Goddard, with Andrews before, Komet's not going to replace Andrews week to week. I know people think he will because he's been scoring touchdowns every week. But at least if something happens to Andrews, you have Komet, you have a fallback. Because this is the time of year where you don't want to have to, go from Andrews and then go pick up, Robert Tonyan. You know what I mean? And your team is, hosed.
Yeah, definitely not. So, definitely Komet for me. And if you can afford to, solid hold, especially with Andrews being banged up. All right, Sutton, Lazard, or Boyd in the flex.
Oh, this is actually close for me between Lazard and Boyd.
It's close.
I know people are going to be down on Lazard because of last week, but that was a tough matchup against the Cowboys. This is a great matchup. Man.
And I just talked about it going against Tennessee. That's a good spot. And people will forget Lazard because it was all Watson. Well, now that the defense actually has to pay attention to Watson, maybe Lazard does his thing. I hate to spoil our upcoming videos, but I am high on Boyd this week, so I'm going to have to go with Boyd just because he's one of my
Boyd's in a great spot too. So, man, this is really, really close between those two. I'll say Boyd as well, just so you can put him in your flex because I like them both. It's really close.
Yeah,
it could go either way here. It could go either way. So,
and really, even though we said this last week, Sutton has amazingly good matchup on paper because it's the Raiders, but he's still in the Broncos. So, all right, NFL PPR league, Monty, Jeff Wilson, Patterson, backup RBs. If you're asking who to start, well, Jeff Wilson's on bye.
Yeah, I mean, I like Patterson this week, but it's not a great spot. It's not like a slam dunk spot. Monty is in a good spot, and now Herbert's on IR. But do we trust that he's going to suddenly get 15, 20 carries just because Herbert's out, or is Justin Fields just going to run the ball 20 times? Are they just going to call more quarterback runs?
Yeah, I mean, Monty obviously in a much better position. I mean, I guess if you're asking who would like better this week, I'm going to give the edge to Monty just because I trust the workload more. Ralphie, welcome back, Ralphie. So you got Hurts, Daniel Jones, Barkley, Walker, Sanders, Foreman, Olave, Kirk, Ayuk, DJ Moore, Waddle, Komet, Fryer, and had Justin Fields, but sent him for Sanders. I mean, if you have Hurts, then that's fine. I think he could have got more than Sanders.
Yeah, I think he probably could have got a little bit more than Sanders, but it's okay. Again, it's okay because you got Jalen Hurts. You don't need Fields. I would have probably tried to get a little bit more if I could, but it's fine. I don't mind. Like Sanders every week, RB2, plug him in your lineup, take what you get.
Yeah, I mean, looking, and I don't know, I don't remember. I know you've been with us before. I don't remember how deep your league is, but pretty good. And I get, having Sanders helps you this week because Walker's on bye. You've got a solid group of running backs. I mean, you don't have, I guess, a clear wide receiver one. Waddle is kind of borderline wide receiver one, maybe, but you're pretty good there too.
Yeah,
I like this team. Halal Sob, I lost Cup. Condolences. Got offered Terry Stevenson and A-Rob for Chubb, Hunt, and Hawk.
I kind of think you have to do this. I kind of think you have to do this. I mean, is Stevenson that big of a downgrade from Chubb?
No, I guess not. I mean, in Hunt and Chubb, Hunt's just the handcuff there.
Yeah, Hunt's just there in case Chubb gets hurt. The guy can put Hunt in, right? Like, you're never going to start Hunt. Like, Stevenson's been great. And look, we've seen Chubb, kind of recently here, like, when he's not scoring 2 touchdowns, he's still good, but he's not, like, lighting the world on fire. Stevenson's been great. I'm guessing you need a wide receiver since you lost Cup. And, Terry's fine. And you're giving up Hawk. I'm assuming you don't need Hawkinson. So I think you got to take this.
I don't know. The way I look at it is like you get Chubb is an RB1. Hawkinson is a tight end one, especially these days. To me, Stevenson, he's close, but he's more a high-end RB2. Terry is a wide receiver 2-ish. And then A-Rob is just kind of like a waiver guy, kind of like Hunt. So I think I kind of like the Chubb Hawkinson side better. But if this makes your team better, because maybe you don't need a tight end, maybe you need help at wide receiver, I think it's fine because I do like Terry going forward. All right. Derek Schindler, Chubb, and Jeff Wilson. Would you trade Sanders for Metcalf?
Yeah. If you need a wide receiver, I would do that. I think that's very fair. I think it's a very good trade for both sides. If you need wide receiver help, do it. Now, if your only running backs are Chubb and Jeff Wilson, if those are your only running backs, then I'd probably keep Miles Sanders because, like, I don't know if I can trust Jeff Wilson for the rest of my fantasy season.
I mean, I assume you put that in there. You're thinking, like, okay, are you good with Jeff Wilson being my running back too?
No.
Because I'm trading Sanders. So that's the thing. Like, I have Chubb and Wilson. Those are the guys you're rolling out the rest of the season. Do you still do it?
No. If those are your only 2 running backs, no. Because what are you going to do? What are you going to do if you lose Chubb or Jeff Wilson? You're going to have to go to the waiver wire and grab some guy who gets like you're going to have to grab like Caleb Huntley. You know what I mean? The guy gets like 7 or 8 touches and hope for the best. Like, yeah, if these are your only 2 running backs, like if Sanders is your RB3, then I'm not doing this. Not doing this.
I mean, in a vacuum, I would rather have Metcalf than Sanders, but it's pretty close. But yeah, that's the thing. I mean, it really depends. Unless you're really hard up for a wide receiver, it's not necessarily good for your team. Yeah. Now, if you have Raheem Mostert, then maybe that's fine because if Wilson goes down, you just plug Mostert in.
Yeah.
Maybe that's fine. Ferda, thank you so much, Ferda. Always with us as well, usually. Heartbreaker last night, needed 13 from Brown and Goddard's. Man, I mean, that play hurt on a lot of levels. It hurt Goddard, obviously, and it hurt the Eagles. Okay, so since Goddard is out, would you give up Fields and Kmet for Kelsey?
Yes, and you have Burrow? Yes, I do this 100%. Easy. Like, somebody wants to, somebody thinks Justin Fields is going to score 40 points every game from now to the end of the year, and they're willing to give me one of the biggest advantages in fantasy, which is Travis Kelsey. Yes, thank you very much.
I mean, I could see Fields outscoring Burrow rest of the season, but there's no way Cole Kmet's going to outscore Travis Kelsey. I'm not going to find out. So that's the thing. If you have Burrow and Kelsey, you're good.
Yeah.
I mean, because if the Bears fall back to earth or something happens there, then yeah, that little stack that looks so great the last 3 weeks, that it's killing you. So yeah, I think you should do this.
Yeah, definitely do that.
franchise, Schultz or Njoku, rest of the season.
I got Schultz, definitely Schultz again. Like Schultz was a guy I had as a top like 5-ish tight end before the season. Then Dak got hurt. Then he got hurt. Now they're both healthy. He's been great in the games with Dak. He gets one of the most targeted tight ends, and he's catching passes from Dak Prescott, not Jacoby Brissett. I know Deshaun is coming back, but we don't know what we're going to get from Deshaun this year, like as far as his play. So I'll take Schultz.
Yeah, like Schultz, only reason that he hasn't really been what he was last year is because he was hurt. I mean, the first part of the season he was hurt, and then Dak was hurt, and that hurt him because Cooper Rush just didn't throw his way. He's good. I'd rather take the guy who already got over being injured to the guy who actually is injured, but also the guy on the better offense, the guy with the better quarterback. You see where this is going. So, yeah, I go Schultz as well. Easily. Rock out. Christian Watson, Nico Collins, Westbrook, or none. Russell Westbrook?
I think Westbrook Keeney, because he had like 2 touchdowns last week.
Oh, Westbrook Keeney. All right.
No, definitely Watson. Definitely Watson here. He's got Aaron Rodgers. He's in a better offense, I guess. Definitely a better offense than Tennessee, and well, at least passing offense than Tennessee and Houston. So definitely Christian Watson.
And I didn't even mention Westbrook Akine. I'm not putting anything into that performance. If you saw that, like that second touchdown, the 2 defenders like ran into each other and fell down, and then that safety, I don't know what he was doing. He totally should have tackled him at like the 20, but he just did a little cut and the guy fell over. I mean, it shouldn't have been a long touchdown. Anyways, my point is not him. I'll go Christian Watson for sure. Ben and Ronnie Network. Mixon and Curtis Samuel for Barkley and Metcalf.
Absolutely. If you're getting Barkley and Metcalf, do this. That's a Barkley over Mixon, Metcalf over Samuel. Definitely do this.
Yeah, Barkley over Barkley over Mixon any day, and Metcalf over Samuel any day. You're getting the better end. Both sides of this deal, assuming you're getting the Barkley Metcalf side. And this is an easy one. Eckler Sutton for Taylor Swift. You don't trade Taylor Swift away. She is priceless. All right. Ramu. Welcome back, Ramu. Had you last week. Full PPR 10 team, 4-6, but still in the mix. All right. 1 game from the playoffs. So here we go. 3 questions. Fields or Lamar Jackson, and not this week, rest of the season.
I'm going Lamar rest of the season. Like, look. Okay, so somebody asked what I just had a trade. We just made a trade for Fields in our Pond League with Spicy Roberto. I'm 4-6. Like I'm in win now mode. Etienne's on a bye. I traded for Fields and Jacoby Myers. Now we play 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, and a flex, I believe. So I'll be flexing Jacoby Myers, and I got Fields and Myers for Etienne. So if you want to know I gave up Etienne, but I got Myers back and I got Fields, and I have to win this week. Etienne's giving me 0 points this week. But even I, who just traded for Fields, would prefer Lamar Jackson rest of season.
I mean, yeah, you're really rolling the dice here and just assuming Fields will keep doing what he's doing. And it's been mentioned here too. I think somebody even threw it in this chat that his end of season / playoff schedule isn't the best. Like, look, maybe you say, well, running quarterback, he's matchup proof or whatever. Well, what's Lamar Jackson? Like, that's what he is. He was it before Justin Fields. So, yeah.
Real quick. So I was pulling that up. Here is his. So he gets Atlanta this week. I'm sure he'll smash. Then he goes on the road against the Jets. That's a tough matchup. At home against Green Bay, a tough matchup. Then the bye. Then he gets Philly. You know, the only quarterback to even score 16 points against Philly this year was Kyler Murray. No quarterbacks even top 16 against him. Then he gets Buffalo. And then he does get Detroit in week 17. So if you make it to the championship, you know you're going to win with Joseph Fields because he's going to get you 40 that week. But you got to make it through that gauntlet first. So definitely Lamar Jackson.
That's another thing. Look, we're in week 11 here. He hasn't had his bye yet. So that's a week you're going to be without him. You know, that's just something else to consider. Yeah. So, yeah, the short answer here is Lamar. Close, but Lamar. On waiver, Christian Watson, Pickens, or Paris Campbell? Who you like?
It should be Pickens. But I don't know if it is Pickens because he's got Pickett.
Right.
I think we tried to warn you all season, like, this passing offense is going to be terrible. Whether it's Trubisky or Pickett, it's going to be awful. But Pickens has such a good schedule after next week. So good. It's like it's hard for me to like ignore it, but I think I gotta go Watson. He's got Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I'm going Watson. Again, not anointing him as like the next Tyreek Hill or anything, but he could be the number one receiver in Green Bay going forward. He's got that upside. I like his matchup this week. I'm going to go with him. Definitely tied to the better quarterback out of these three guys. And then the last one here, JT, sell high or keep?
I mean, again, like I always say, sell high if you're actually selling high, which means you either got to get a better running back than JT or you got to get a wide receiver who's comparable or better than JT. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm pretty sure. I mean, we had JT ranked inside our top 5 when we did our top 10 rest of season rankings. Now, that very week is when he re-injured his ankle. But I think right now I would have JT probably back in the top 10 at least in the top 10, maybe even top 5. So you got to get like a top 10 running back in return or a top 10 wide receiver in return. Or if you need 2 players, like maybe your team you don't have a lot of players, you got to get 2 really good players back.
Yeah, I just say, not knowing the specifics of your team league, anything else. If you're asking me, is this a chance to sell high or keep? I'm keeping, still high in him. Everything that needed to happen for him to be a stud running back again has happened. Like, regardless of what you think of Jeff Saturday or that hiring, like, it doesn't matter. Okay. Matt Ryan's a quarterback. They have an actual NFL quarterback again. They're committed to running the ball. Nyheim Hines is gone. Deion Jackson is hurt. JT looked good. He's healthy. He looked good. And you know what? This matchup, when you think about it in Philadelphia, I'm not just talking this week, right? Not rest of the season. You saw what they did. Washington actually ran the ball against them. With Jordan Davis, the rookie lineman, out, they're actually not a good run defense. So this could be another smash week for JT. So even if you were going to sell high, I would wait because he's probably going to have another good week. Now, if your deadline is this week, then just keep him. All right, so just want to stop and take this time to remind you we're still catching up. Again, we get a lot of chats. We're trying to get to as many as possible. These comments, super chat goes first, and then we'll try to answer some other comments as well. Best way to make sure that you get your question answered is the super chat, because those bright colors show up and we see them and we make sure we answer them because that's why you use it. Don't forget, guys, Discord is absolutely free. Link is down below. You can join it right now and start asking questions to our entire community. And there's a lot of other things in there too. Check it out. And you can get all your questions answered live in a small setting Sunday mornings every week during the season if you're a patron, plus weekly rankings, plus waiver wire advice, plus other stuff all off season long. Link is down below too. All right, so if you did throw a super chat in there, bear with us. We are catching up. Josh Engel, 3-7 and lost cup. All right, so here we go. Burrow, Sutton, Pittman, Rondale, Tony, Swift, JT, Patterson, Stevenson, White, and Dulcich.
So, I mean, this is just brutal because
what this team needs is like a Cooper Cup type. That's what it needs.
Yeah, but this team really needs Cooper Cup. You can't even, like, this isn't like Jamar Chase where people are like, he might be back in like a couple weeks. And, if I'm, 8-1 or 8-2 or I'm 7-3, maybe I'll take Chase on and I'll take on the risk. No one's going to take on the risk for Cooper Cup right now because, like, he just had surgery. Like, you know what I mean? So if you have Cooper Cup, you're pretty much hosed. This is like the worst timing and everything. This might be a situation where I do sell high on JT because you have to win, but only if I can get like 2 good players back. So if I could get, let's say, like Dameon Pierce, and then maybe somebody like DK Metcalf or maybe even Christian Kirk or somebody like that, like a solid wide receiver 2 with upside. A high-end RB2, because you need to replace Cup, but you also need to, like, you're not going to replace Cup with one player. You're not. It's because you can't, right? So this might be a time where I sell high on JT and just say, you know what, I have to win this week, because you're not going to win with Sutton Pittman and Rondale and Tony probably. I don't think, especially in half PPR. So, yeah.
I mean, you definitely need a stud receiver there. So you're just going to have to take a chance and hope Rashad White can kind of carry the load and be a starter every week going forward. Stevenson, I think you'll be fine with. And Patterson can fill in if needed. So trade JT. I would trade JT and package him with like a Rondale or a Tony and try to get a stud receiver, maybe two pieces back. I mean, I don't know what else you can do. Those wide receivers you have there don't have high-end value.
Yeah, you're desperate, so you got to make a desperate move.
Yeah, so this is where you kind of have to sell JT.
Yeah.
But don't settle.
Don't settle.
Eduardo wants to know, okay, traded Rondale, Foreman, and Monty for Adams and Mitchell. Also lost Cup. A lot of people in that boat. All right, what do you think of that deal?
I think that's a good deal. I mean, Adams a huge upgrade over Rondale. Foreman and Monty, they're fine, but they're just like, kind of volume-based RB2s. Mitchell, I don't think. I mean, Foreman and Monty will probably be better than Mitchell, assuming CMC stays healthy. But still, you're getting Adams. That's a huge upgrade. So, yeah, I like this trade, honestly.
Yeah, anytime you can get an elite wide receiver and you didn't give up an elite player in exchange, that's good. I mean, obviously you're hoping that Swift gets more involved, does something. It's really aggravating. You have both Detroit running backs and you're never going to know which one to start. So that's a little annoying, but yeah, I think that was a good deal for you. The real Dirty Dan 23. 8-2. That's good. So would you trade Tyreek Hill for Lamb or Hopkins? Thinking of the playoff schedules, that's a good point. Talked about the Dolphins. Now, Hill might be a guy who's mostly matchup proof, but do you like Lamb or Nuck better than Hill?
Well, definitely not Hopkins, because I talked about him too. Like Denver in week 15, you're starting them, but you're going to be like terrified. Tampa Bay in week 17, and 16. I know Tampa Bay has been a little weaker against the pass, but if that defense gets, healthy or better down the stretch like they should be, you're not going to enjoy that matchup very much. Lamb does have a pretty good schedule, but man, can I trade? What I said in the video was Tyreek for Adams, because I don't think like end of season there's going to be a big difference between Tyreek and Adams. I know right now there is, but you got to remember Tyreek has played one more game than everybody else. He still hasn't had his bye. Everybody else behind him has had his bye. So it's easy to look and be like, Tyreek is the number one scorer. Yeah, he's played an extra game. Of course he's the number one scorer. But I don't know if Lamb is on that level. Do I have Lamb on that same level, or is this too much of a teardrop? That's the only thing for me.
I would rather have Hill, even though technically the Cowboys have a better schedule. I trust the Dolphins offense. Yes, I know. But still, I trust the Dolphins offense more than the Cowboys offense, because we've seen what happens with the Cowboys offense. It's up, it's down. Sometimes Dak just doesn't show up. I feel pretty good about Hill's target just being constant. Like he will always get targeted, and he doesn't really need it, even though he's getting it a ton of targets, because you know what he can do with the ball. So I would keep Hill. I mean, I don't know why you would trade him. Chris KD, welcome back, Chris. Needed RB2 this week because of buys. I think you can start Montgomery. I mean, obviously with Herbert out, I mean it's going to be all Monty. But do you like any of these guys better? Gordon, no. Pacheco, maybe. Mitchell, maybe. It would be one of those two guys.
Pacheco. If I have Pacheco, I'm starting him over Montgomery. I know Montgomery has a good matchup, but Pacheco has a better matchup. He's in what should be a better offense, and like he got all the carries last week, all of them, like 100% of them went to Pacheco. Like I don't think all of a sudden they're gonna be like, well, we just wanted to see like test drive Pacheco for 1 week, and now we're gonna go back to the committee. I mean, you got to think at this point they've pretty much put their chips in the middle and saying they're all in with Pacheco, right? So Pacheco against the Chiefs, I'm going with that matchup.
If it was like a disciplinary thing or something like, teach him, we would have heard. We would have heard something. That's not what it is, right? That's not what this is. So, I mean, I think Monty is startable, but I like Pacheco better. I mean, great matchup. He's the guy. So, yeah, go Pacheco. And then let's do a couple of the regular chats here, because We're still catching up. Okay, CD and Pittman to trade, need a good RB for the playoffs. I mean, I don't know what Pittman's value is, but do you do that?
I think Pittman's value is a little bit higher now because people know, okay, Matt Ryan's back. He had a nice game. He didn't have like a huge game, but he had a nice game. We can breathe. You know what I mean? Like people be like, oh, okay, I can breathe again. Like, okay, don't have to hyperventilate in the bag because Sam Ellinger is playing every week. But if I'm going to trade CD, I'm getting a stud running back. I better be getting a stud running back. Like, you know, I mean, you might be able to get Christian McCaffrey right now. Like, people are a little nervous about Christian McCaffrey. He just split the reps with Elijah Mitchell. Kyle Shanahan said he wants to split the reps with him. I don't know. I'm not sold that CMC is going to get his exact, like they're going to split the reps with these guys. I'm not really sold on that. So, and Elijah Mitchell only played like 39% of the snaps. I think it was just one of those games where, like Pierre said, it was the Chargers. They could run at will. They could just run at will. I think we're going to see way more CMC than Elijah Mitchell. If you can trade CD and Pittman for CMC, I would do that. Somebody like that, I would do it.
It would have to be, though. Don't settle for a guy like CD, stud receiver, coming off a huge game. Yeah. All right. Fu Yang, would you drop Herbert for Danny Dimes?
No way. I'd rather just play Herbert this week. Even if Mike Williams isn't back and Keenan's not back, I'd rather just play him because first of all, he's way better. But second of all, he's got such a good schedule the rest of the season. At least we know Mike Williams is close to being back. Keenan, who knows? But at least we know Mike Williams is close. And when he gets Mike Williams back, he'll be way better.
Supposedly, Keenan Allen is going to come back to practice this week at some point. I mean, we'll see. But yeah, this is the wrong time. Guys, as soon as you give up on Herbert, this is the wrong time. He's going to start getting better. Just watch. And then captured Slay. Trade Gabe for Olave?
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. I'm okay with it. Like, I don't think it's like a huge win. I will say, like, if you saw a video, Gabe Davis also has two really tough matchups in the fantasy playoffs. And Olave has a really good schedule. And hopefully, if they announce it's going to be Jameis Winston starting, you're going to really like this trade then. Then you'll really like this trade because that'll be a big bump for Olave.
Yeah, I think I slightly prefer Olave, so I think that's good. And another quick one here, UPS Power. Drop DJ Moore for Kadarius Toney.
Easily. Baker Mayfield back. I mean, PJ Walker has a high ankle sprain. Like, are we really going to see PJ Walker again this season? Like, probably not. Like,
no.
Yes, I'd rather chase the upside of Toney than the 8 points I'm going to get from DJ Moore with Baker Mayfield.
Agree with that. All right, Rodney Santana. Welcome back, Rodney. All right, he wants us to grade this team. Hurts, Barkley, Kamara, and JT. Sutton, Mooney, I guess Njoku, Cooks, Dotson, Edmonds, going for Watson. All right, we're running back heavy and wide receiver deficient, kind of.
Yeah, you definitely need Watson. You need some wide receiver help. You're stacked at running back. You got to try to move one of those guys, I would say, because
is JT the guy?
What's that?
Is JT the guy that you move?
I mean, I'm not moving Barkley. No. And Kamara's values kind of tanked lately. So probably JT's the one. But you got it. Like I said, you got to get a stud. Got to get a stud wide receiver. Like, don't trade JT and be like, I got DK Metcalf. Like, no, you got to get a stud, top 10, top 5 wide receiver in return.
So grading this team, I mean, look, if you do that, if you flip that one of those RBs for a stud receiver, I think you're pretty good. Still don't love that your wide receiver 2 would be Sutton and wide receiver 3 would be Mooney.
Yeah.
I'm going to go 7.5 probably.
I was going to say 7. Like, you're stacked at running back. You got a good QB. Tight end's okay, but your wide receivers, I mean, Sutton and Mooney every week, even Christian Watson's those wide receivers, they're not even the good kind of volatile where it's like, well, they might only give me 5 or 6, but they might also give me 25 or 30. It's like, they're not even those kind of guys, right? They're like, you're going to get like 8-ish, 10-ish, 12-ish. You know what I mean? So, yeah, like a 7 for me because of those wide receivers.
Yeah, go for Watson and drop. If that's Chase Edmonds, just drop him. Drop him right now. I mean, that's not worth a roster spot. Andrew needs help. Lost Cup and Goddard.
Brutal.
Yeah, it's one of those weeks. All right, so you still got Jefferson. That's good. Got Gabe and Godwin, Boyd. Very pretty good at wide receiver, and Garrett Wilson, James Conner, Jeff Wilson, and Swift. Needs Dalton Schultz. Who am I dropping? Are those your only choices?
That's it. This is like your entire team. That's your bench and everything.
I mean,
I think I'm dropping Boyd. Not that I don't like Boyd, but Chase probably will come back. That's going to hurt his value. You got Jefferson. You got Gabe Davis. You got Godwin. Like, you got Garrett Wilson. I think you can live without Boyd. I mean, if you have to drop one of these guys, that's probably who I'm dropping.
I mean, it would have to be one of those receivers. Boyd or Garrett Wilson, maybe. But, I mean, look, if Chase comes back, then Boyd, you'd rather probably have Wilson than Boyd down the stretch. Wilson is the wide receiver one. So, yeah, my first reaction was Wilson. But, no, it probably does make more sense to drop Boyd. So, yeah, drop Boyd. I'm thinking I like Boyd better this week, but long term.
Yeah, this week, but
long term, probably keep Garrett Wilson.
Yeah.
All right, so Ali H, what is up? Need to drop one. All right, so we got Mostert, Dylan, droppable. Pollard, Rashad White, Mitchell, Tua. You can't drop him. And you need to replace Ertz for Moreau. Got to be Dylan, isn't it?
Yeah, but I would ask, who is your QB? Like, I know you say you don't want to drop Tua, but if you have like one of those top 5 QBs, you can drop Tua because like if you're never going to start Tua, if he's just going to like if all you're doing with Tua is blocking somebody else from picking up Tua, that's not enough for me because what we already saw, Aaron Jones had a scare. I get it. Like Dylan isn't going to be like a league winner if Aaron Jones goes down, but if Aaron Jones goes down, you're going to wish you had Dylan, right? And if you have if you have Jalen Hurts or Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes, you're never going to be like, "Ooh, I'm so glad I have Tua." You know what I mean? Like, you're never like, "Oh, I'm so glad I have Tua on my bench." And again, we did talk about it. He's going to have to go on the road to Buffalo and on the road to New England in December in the fantasy playoffs. Like, I'm not saying he's going to be like, do nothing, but like, you know, it's not easy. That's not an easy task. So, yeah, if Tua's like the guy you're starting, then Dylan.
Right. We don't know who you're the quarterback. Like if you've been starting him and like you had to pick up, you know, Daniel Jones or Jimmy G or like Baker Mayfield for this week, then yeah, keep Tua. And then you can drop that guy next week. But if Tua is kind of like, I don't know, if you have another decent quarterback, you don't have to keep him. So it just kind of depends here. Do a quick one, a regular chat. Connor Mullen traded Pacheco for Robinson. Good trade.
I mean, I prefer Pacheco because again, like I think we're getting a little too excited about one game for Brian Robinson.
Hold on, clarification here. It's James Robinson, not Brian Robinson.
I still prefer Pacheco.
Now I prefer Pacheco even more now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't dislike James Robinson. I think James Robinson will be playable, especially in the playoffs. Like that's what's so sad about Brees. You look at that playoff schedule, you're like, Brees Hall would have gone for 30 points every single week in the playoffs, like 30 plus every single week. It's so sad. But Pacheco, again, looks like it's Pacheco's backfield, and he's on the Chiefs, not the Jets. So I would have preferred Pacheco.
Yeah, Pacheco, agree with that. And then another quickie here. Alex A, best tight end of waivers, Dulcich, Higbee, or Komet?
I think you still got to go Komet. Higbee might be a little safer. Like if you just want your safe, you know, high floor tight end, that's probably Higbee. But if you want the upside, it's Komet.
I think in PPR, you might get a good floor with Higbee, but they're not scoring touchdowns. And now without Kupp, so Komet's been scoring like crazy, which is really weird. Still not used to it, but got the upside. All right, Marco Pelletieri, Josh Allen, Pollard, Miles, Waddle, Evans, Komet, Judy. Who should I trade for? He thinks his running back situation is which I agree with. Wide receivers are on buys. Okay, so you're looking to pull off a deal to help you this week. I mean, starting Lazard and Rondell Moore, that's fine. I don't think you have to trade for that, but what do you do with this team?
Yeah, this is a team where I don't really see like what you're gonna do because you need to upgrade at running back, but I mean, if you trade Waddle or Evans, then you're downgrading at wide receiver. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, maybe if you could trade, like, if you could package Lazard and Rondale Moore together, but you need them this week because then you don't really have any wide receivers because we don't even know if Judy's going to play. You might not even have a wide receiver. I don't really see anything you can do, honestly. I mean, you need a running back, but I don't know how you're going to do it with this team.
That's the thing, and I'm thinking, I mean, I mentioned Pollard before. This might be a good time to sell high, coming off 2 monster games, but Zeke's coming back. But if you do a thing like try to package like Pollard and let's say Rondale Moore to get a upgrade at one position, well, then who are you starting at your other, then you're still down. Or I guess you could just stream a receiver if you get a stud running back. If you get a stud receiver, then you just pick up somebody random off front. But then who's your running back too?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a tough. The only thing I might do is that if you can get a really good running back by packaging Pollard with Rondale Moore.
Yeah, probably Moore. That's what, because he has the most value right now.
Yeah, so if you can do that and then just stream whoever, pick up somebody off waivers for wide receiver this week, that might help your team. And then your running backs won't be, so meh. They'll be good. All right, let's keep it going. By the way, quick reminder, we're catching up. Stay with us, guys. We're trying to get to all the super chats and also as many regular as possible, but we're going to be on a while, so don't worry. All right, Joe Guerrero, flex, Christian Watson, Darius Slayton, or Josh Palmer?
I'll say if Mike Williams and Keenan Allen are out again, I would go with Josh Palmer because it's the Chiefs, not a great secondary. You got to think they're going to have to throw a lot. If even one of them is back, if just one of them is back, then I'm going Christian Watson.
What's funny is that all these guys, to me, are pretty close for different reasons. I like Slayton this week because he gets the Lions. That's it. He's put up some good numbers the last 3 games, and they've been increasingly better, and that's the thing. So I actually like Slayton quite a bit. I also like Watson a lot. And then if Williams and Allen are both out again, and what if Everett's out also? You kind of have to start Palmer. I mean, you almost have to against the Chiefs. So if all 3 of those guys are out, it's Palmer. If not, I mean, it's really kind of a toss-up. I'm slightly leaning Slayton. Just, I guess it's a trust factor for me right now. But it's really, really close between all 3 of these guys, honestly. This is kind of almost like a gut feel. C-Crip. Trade Justin Herbert for Swift because you got Fields.
I think I do this. I mean, I'm fine rolling with Fields even through those tough matchups. He runs the ball. He's not going to kill you, right? He's going to at least have that floor. Like, again, this is if you're thinking ahead, whether you start Fields or you start Herbert, it doesn't matter. Your team isn't better. You know what I mean? Does that make sense what I'm saying? Like, you're just going from one quarterback to the other. Your team is still right here. It's the right. Fields team or the Herbert team. If you trade Herbert and just roll with Fields, you're still right here. What if Swift does slowly get more involved? What if he's one of these guys that week 13, week 14, suddenly he's going nuts again, and now you have DeAndre Swift when it matters in the playoffs. Your team goes from here to here. So I think I do this. It's worth the gamble. You have Justin Fields. Like, yeah, I think Herbert's going to be great rest of the season, but I think Fields will at least be good enough. I think I do this.
You say it all the time. You don't need 2 starting caliber quarterbacks. Between the 2, yeah. I mean, obviously right now, Fields has been a lot better than Herbert, but you take a swing on the upside. Yeah, I do it. All right, GRM Daff. All right, here's the squad. You got Burrow, AJB, Pickens, DPJ, Swift, Robinson, Schultz, Muth. On the bench is Wilson, White, Landry, Burks, Jamal, Marquise on the IR slot. Need to win this week. What do you think?
Yeah, you do need to win this week. I mean, you got Swift who, I mean, he's not on bye, but he almost is kind of on bye with the way they're using him. You got Robinson on bye. You got, I'm assuming that's Rashad White on bye.
Wilson and White. Yep.
Yeah, like you can't. Wilson on bye. I think you got trade Jeff Wilson right now. Trade Jeff Wilson. He's got a brutal playoff schedule. We talked about Miami's schedule. Like, are you really going to start Jeff Wilson on the road in Buffalo or on the road in New England with your fantasy, fortunes on the line? Are you really going to trust Jeff Wilson in those matchups? Like, I don't know. I wouldn't want to. Trade Wilson. Maybe package him with. Well, I don't know. Like man. Maybe package him with Marquise Brown. Go to one of the teams that are in like first or second place. Package Wilson and Marquise Brown, like a team who doesn't need Marquise Brown right now, a team who doesn't need Jeff Wilson right now. Try to get like a really good. Maybe they have. We see people ask us questions all the time. They're like, "Do I start, Saquon Barkley, Nick Chubb, Kenneth Walker, or Dameon Pierce?" Like, we see those teams all the time, right? Where they have like these 4 incredible running backs they don't need. Get one of them who's playing this week. Make sure they're playing this week, though. Don't get one that's on a bye. I would be trying to do something like that.
It's tough. I mean, you need to win this week, and if you're rolling out Pickens and Peoples-Jones in your starting lineup, it's not good. But you're gonna have to try to pull something off. This is the time to do it. Take a shot here because your running backs. I mean, even if Rashad White does wind up being, the starter necessarily, you got a lot of risk there. So,
well, it could be
all right.
4-7 by then because he's got basically one running back playing. Well, he's got basically the Lions running backs this week. That's it.
Basically. Andrew. Oh, okay. Andrew, we're gonna have to go back to that question. It says clarifying earlier has Saquon and Walker. You think you can find that?
Yeah, I'll look for it. So just remember Saquon and Walker.
All right. So I'm going to go into Zay26. Keep it going here. A half PPR trade Terry and Goddard for Andrews, Gabe Davis. Well, I don't know if you know, but Goddard might be out for a while.
I mean, if you're getting Andrews and Gabe Davis, do it because Goddard might go on IR, might miss a few weeks. Who knows? I mean, I would probably take the Andrews and Gabe Davis side anyways. But now with Goddard hurt, I would definitely take the Andrews and Gabe Davis side.
Yeah, I would have taken that side anyways, like you said. So
yeah, here's Andrews. So he lost Kupp and Goddard. So he's got Jefferson, Gabe Davis, Godwin, Boyd, James Conner. Well, he's also got Saquon and Kenneth Walker, though.
Oh, okay. So you're set at running back.
Yeah. Well, again, I'm going to say trade Jeff Wilson then. People are irrationally high on Jeff Wilson right now. And trade him for a wide receiver. Like, no, you're not going to get a Kupp. You're not going to – well, you have Jefferson. You're not going to get, Devontae Adams or Tyreek Hill or anything. But, I mean, you might be able – if the person really needs a, running back, you might be able to get CeeDee Lamb. Might be able to get T. Higgins. Guys like that.
Yeah, and picking up Schultz is definitely a move you want to make. Obviously, you lost Goddard, but, that's a great pickup anyways. And you can drop a Boyd, and that's fine. But, I mean, obviously you won't be able to pull a deal off before the waiver deadline necessarily if your team runs waivers on Tuesday. But why not? Why not try to trade a guy that you're not starting this week anyways? All right, let's go to Ben. Traded Justin Fields and Hawkinson to get Dameon Pierce. Is that too much?
No, I think that's good. Like, I'm assuming you don't need Justin. Again, I'm assuming you don't need Justin Fields. And I'm assuming you probably don't need Hawkinson if you're trading Hawkinson. Like, I'm assuming you have another tight end. So, yeah, you got a high upside, high end RB2. Look, I tweeted this out, and I don't know if you guys followed us during the offseason, but I did a lot of research on running backs. And one of the things that I discovered that I wasn't even trying to find was over the past, 7 years, and I'm sure you can go back even farther, there was like 16 or 17 running backs that have touched the ball 350 or more times in a season. That's carries plus receptions. All of them, 100% of them, have finished top 5. Only one has finished worse than RB, the number 3 scoring running back, and all of them have gone over 300 PPR points. Dameon Pierce is one of only 5 running backs on a 350 plus touch pace right now. I feel like Dameon Pierce is going to have a big, like he's due for to start having some big games, scoring more touchdowns. So yeah, I'm assuming you have a QB that's comparable to Fields or better, and I'm assuming you have a tight end comparable to Hawkinson, and if so, this is a great deal.
Yeah, I mean, if those guys were backups on your team, or at least you have a tight end that's fine to start, over Hawkinson, it's no loss there, and you got a good running back, so I think that's fine. All right, Joel Bolin must play Algier. I mean, you don't have to, but anyways. Okay, you got Dylan Madison and Henderson are available on waivers. An upgrade this week, I guess you're asking, would you start any of those guys over Algier?
No, not this week. Algier does get a decent amount of run typically. So I don't think he's the worst, bye week desperation fill in this week.
No, they go against the Bears, one of the lesser run defenses. So I think that's a good choice there. So definitely no upgrade. Would you drop Garrett Wilson for Pittman?
It's close. I think it's close. I don't know. You don't have anybody else you can drop? Garrett Wilson's the worst player on your – well, Algier is probably the worst player on your team, but you need to start him this week.
Right.
You don't have anybody worse than Garrett Wilson? Really? I mean, I guess if Pittman's on the waiver wire, you might not. You might not.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, you can. It is really close.
Yeah.
I'll give the slight edge to Pittman.
Yeah, I'd probably prefer Pittman, honestly. So I would.
Because as far as I know, Garrett Wilson still has Zach Wilson, the quarterback.
Yes.
Allen ×2 or 2 times 2x. D-Hop and Singletary for Saquon and Devontae.
If you're getting Saquon and Devonta, that's a huge, huge win. Saquon an upgrade over D-Hop for sure. And then Devonta, huge win. Huge win if you're getting Saquon and Devonta.
Yeah, definitely go with Saquon Devontae. In that case, Cerulean Dog, welcome back. Need a tight end. Here are the usual suspects: Komet, Higbee, Njoku, Morrow, and Hurst.
Komet.
It's Komet.
Komet. The only way I would say one of the other guys, like Njoku, if he plays, or Higbee, is again, is your team just you have just to have this monster team, studs everywhere, and you just need a tight end and get you 10 points every week, and you don't have to worry about it. Then maybe I would go with one of those guys, because there is still a chance that the wheels fall off for Komet and the Bears offense, right? We're, the first 6 games of the season. So, you know what I mean? It's not we haven't seen the wheels fall off.
It is possible. Believe it or not, they may not do exactly what they've done the last couple of weeks, but
yeah.
All right, here's a regular chat. This one sounds very desperate, so let's answer this one. Annabelle Reyes, do I keep Herbert or Fields because you need an RB2 or somebody else? So who do you keep?
I keep whichever one gets me the best running back 2 or wide receiver is the one I trade. I'm fine if Herbert's my quarterback the rest of the season. I'm fine if Fields is my QB the rest of the season. If right now, if Herbert gets you Miles Sanders and Justin Fields gets you, Alvin Kamara or Dameon Pierce, then I'm trading Justin Fields, or vice versa. That's how I'm doing it. Who does my trade partner value more?
Right. I think at this point, I would assume Fields has more trade value, so that's probably who you want to kind of dangle out there first. Tava who in first. Very good. PPR 2 flex league. Week at tight end, you got Everett. Would you trade for Kelsey and Andrews? Who would you trade? So here are the choices, I guess. Stevenson, Mixon, Swift, Etienne, Godwin, Cooper. But Njoku's also on the wire. So you just grab Njoku and try to roll with either him and or Everett rest of the season, or you trade one of those guys for a stud tight end.
I mean, you've got Mixon and Etienne and Swift who has potential. If you could trade Stevenson and get Kelsey or Andrews, then I would do it. But I'm not trading, I'm not trading Mixon or Etienne for one of those guys. And I guess you need Godwin and Cooper, but I would also be fine just rolling with Njoku or Everett. I'd be totally fine with that.
Yeah, and this is a 2 flex league, so you don't necessarily need to sacrifice, a receiver or running back for a
Yeah.
tight end. So, nah, I mean, I think Njoku, even if he doesn't come back this week, and what if Everett doesn't play this week? I mean, you can stream tight end for 1 week. I mean, it's not going to kill you, right? A tight end is not going to kill you. So,
yeah,
yeah,
you're in
I
first
don't
place.
think I trade.
You can stream for 1 week.
All right, Louis C. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Trade Fields and Jacobs for JT. My team has Burrow, Higgins, Diggs, McLaurin, Stevenson, Andrews. What do you think? Too much?
Yeah, I feel like you could have gotten more. Because Jacobs has still been great and Fields has so much value. Like, I would have liked it if you got JT and maybe like a good wide receiver back or something. Especially you got Higgins and Diggs, but then you got McLaurin. Maybe if you could have gotten like a more, although McLaurin's been pretty nice, but I don't know. I mean, your team is pretty stacked. You got Higgins, Diggs, McLaurin, Stevenson with JT now. You got Mark Andrews. Like, your team is pretty stacked regardless. But yeah, I mean, I would have probably preferred it more if you traded like Fields and Stevenson for JT instead of Fields and Jacobs.
And I'll say, look, I like JT over Jacobs, but again, this was the time to sell high on Fields, and so you probably could have got more in return. That's the thing. You didn't really sell high, Chris. You always say it, right? If you're gonna sell high, sell high. Like, get a haul. You probably could have done like Jacobs for JT straight up. I think maybe. I don't know. But look, your team is so good, so it's not like it kills you. I like this name's Jazzy Bath. This is like that. Is it like that Pat Mahomes commercial, the State Farm one, or whatever? Yeah. All right, Swift or Foreman, who are you going to start this week?
Definitely Foreman. It's not a terrible matchup for him. They're not going to be getting blown out like that 1 week against the Bengals. He's going to probably get the ball 20 times. Who knows what we're going to get with Swift right now? Got to be Foreman.
It's got to be Foreman until we see Swift get more than 6 carries. All right, Big Dog Pound. Trying to pick up 2 players in the following waiver group. Got Watson, Robinson coming off that big game, and or White. If it's Rachaad White, I mean, look, just drop all the fab. Anyways, do you think you should drop Mostert and Sutton for those players?
I mean, I would easily drop Mostert for Rachaad White. Like, that's no problem for me. I'm not dropping Sutton for those guys. I know Sutton, kind of disappointed last week, but he did still have 12 PPR points. He had 11 targets. Now, granted, there are 11 targets from Russell Wilson, so okay. But any guy getting that many targets, he's at least gonna give you a high weekly floor, right? Like every week, because he's just too many targets, too many opportunities. So I would definitely drop Mostert for Rachaad White, but I'm not dropping Sutton.
Yeah, like our short-term memory and recency bias says like Christian Watson is amazing, and Cortland Sutton is terrible. Like Watson over Sutton, okay. But then look at the big picture. Watson could be becoming the wide receiver 1 for Green Bay. Sutton is the wide receiver 1 for Denver, and Jerry Jeudy might not play, and they get the Raiders. So, no, I don't drop Sutton. And I definitely am not too interested in Brian Robinson. All right, let's keep going. We're catching up here. Take advice from the Lord, Colin B. We're back, Colin.
Slash it.
Don't just smash it, slash it.
Slash it like Michael Myers.
There you go. That's a good one. All right. Thank you. Appreciate that, Nick. We're catching up here, guys. Nick. Stick with us. We have a good one coming up. Hold on. Hamad H. 7-3 got offered Kupp and Schultz.
That's a hard no. That's a hard no. I don't care if I'm 10-0 right now. Like, I don't think we're gonna see. I know a while back we were saying we're not gonna see JT, and we saw JT. But JT had like a minor ankle sprain. Cooper Kupp is having ankle surgery in week 11, which means best case he's back, week 15. And by that point, the Rams are probably going to be completely out of it. And he's probably not going to be 100%. Like, are you really even going to play Cooper Kupp at that point if he's even back? And that's like best case scenario. That's best case. Do not do this trade. No, don't do this trade.
I don't care who it is, what it is. Like, if it's like even for like $2 fab, no, don't take Cooper Kupp on.
Yeah,
I really don't think he's going to play the rest of the season. Like Jamar Chase, yeah, I can see him coming back. This is a team that wants to make the Super Bowl again. They're going to need Jamar Chase to get back and get healthy. Rams are going nowhere. Right? They're going in reverse.
Yeah.
All right, so not a super chat, but this is definitely our most important customer here. Francis in California. She says that her biggest competitor.
I wonder who that could be.
Offered Schultz or Kittle for Rachaad White. Oh, because someone trying to take advantage of the Goddard injury. I see how that is. All right. Would you do the trade? Is this one of those where just I answer it, or
probably? Now let me put some backstory on this. The only okay, first of all, I have Rachaad White like on almost all my teams.
Of course.
Somebody in that league a few weeks ago dropped Deebo Samuel and Mike Williams. I know.
At the same time?
Yes. And I had to drop Rachaad White to pick them up. I had to.
Okay.
I couldn't, I didn't have anybody else. And of course, the only person in this league who even knew who Rachaad White was my lovely wife, Francis, who immediately grabbed him. And now she has Rachaad White. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Yeah.
Smart. She's definitely a smart one.
So anyways, right. I almost feel like it's in fairness, she should give me back Rachaad White. But yes, I guess you should answer it. But I mean, look at her team. Does she even gonna play Rachaad White? Look at her team.
No. I mean, if you lost Goddard, you're getting a stud tight end. Yes, you do it. I mean, you hate to do it. You hate to give your competitor any advantage, but I think you do this trade. You get the tight end.
Which tight end should she get?
Which tight end?
Because I think you and I both agree they're like really close, right?
Yeah, I actually kind of like Schultz a little bit more. Less target competition, better schedule, better quarterback. So I kind of prefer Schultz. And then drop Edwards for Pacheco. Definitely. Yeah, Edwards, you don't really need to hold Edwards. Pacheco, yeah, I do that. And good luck. May you win the rest of the season, including the Super Bowl. Again. All right, Adolfo Romero Ramirez. Would you drop Khalil Herbert? Well, you definitely want to drop Khalil Herbert.
Yes.
For McKinnon, it's got to be somebody better.
Yeah, is there anybody better? I mean, you could drop Herbert. I mean, if you don't have an IR spot, you can definitely drop Herbert because he's on IR now. Yeah, there's nobody better than McKinnon.
It's got it. Yeah, I mean, sure you can do it, but keep looking. There's got to be somebody better there. All right, top 5 tight ends rest of the season. Well, we didn't do a tight end video on our top, but now that everything has changed, let's do a quick list here. Who do you put in order? Because we just talked about Kittle and Schultz. What do you think the pecking order is here? Kelsey or Andrews 1?
Kelsey, Andrews. Then it's like Schultz, Kittle are like this because I don't know. Like I can't like who. Of course, assuming Goddard. With Goddard being out, of course, I would have had Goddard at 3, but now he's out. So, and these guys are like this, right? Like neck and neck here. And then I don't even know at number 5. Like
it might be Hawkinson.
Maybe. It's just like a bunch of guys. It's like maybe there's like 5 or 6 guys.
I think for me, it's probably Hawkinson 5. I mean, I agree. Look, it's Kelsey, Andrews, Schultz, Kittle, and then I probably go Hawkinson, and then like Cole Kmet's like there. He's just lurking.
Yeah.
Like he almost top 5, and then maybe got like Freiermuth. He's more of a floor play.
Yeah.
Don't ask about Kyle Pitts. Just don't. Chris KD with another comment. Oh, well, thanks. And I'm glad that you're part of it, of course. Speaking of tight ends, would you trade the Muth for Zeke?
No. I mean,
no.
You've got Njoku and Schultz. You don't need Freiermuth, but get somebody better than Zeke.
Right.
Yeah, the guy,
but not for Zeke.
Your opponent needs a tight end. Your opponent doesn't have any bargaining power.
Right.
Yeah, get somebody better than Zeke.
Yeah, and I think that's smart because you want to hold Schultz. Just told you have him as a top 5 tight end. And Njoku doesn't have any trade value right now. Freiermuth is the one to trade. Yeah, you can get better than Zeke. I mean, you're not going to get like a top 10 running back, but still, just not Zeke.
Yeah.
All right. John Monterosso has Jalen Hurts, Kenneth Walker, Derrick Henry, Lamb, AJB, and Hawkinson with Chase lingering there, Lazard, Foreman, Peoples-Jones, Rondale Moore. do we need to do anything with this team?
I mean, you could try to trade Herbert because you got Hurts, but again, his value's a little low right now. No, you don't need to do anything. I mean, when Chase comes back, you're going to have Kenneth Walker, Derrick Henry, CeeDee Lamb, AJ Brown, Jamar Chase, TJ Hawkinson. Like, Foreman's great to have on your bench. Lazard is great to have on your bench. Rondell, people, no. I mean, maybe try to trade Herbert for something, anything, but you don't need to do anything with this team. No, this team's stacked.
Yeah, I mean, you can try, like I said, trade those pieces you don't need. You know, Herbert, his value is not high right now, but people still hold him in pretty high regard. Maybe somebody needs a quarterback. I mean, there's always somebody who wants a stud quarterback. And I think Rondell Moore is the only kind of trade, like sell high candidate here. So I might package those two to try to upgrade somewhere. And you got a pretty good team. Okay, what about Cornelius Terry, also returning chat member? Keep Cortland Sutton or get rid of?
Again, I mean, if you're talking about dropping him, don't drop him. If you're going to try to trade him, sure, but you're not going to get a lot for Cortland Sutton right now. That's a problem. I mean,
right?
You know, what are you going to get for him? Maybe you could get like a James Conner, Donta Foreman type running back if you're like desperate at running back and you're deep at wide receiver, but you're not going to get a lot for him right now.
And I don't drop him. This is not the week to drop him. Look, I get it. He should have done better last week. This whole Denver offense just not good. But one more week, just one more week, because the matchup is so good. See if he does anything. Try him out this week, and then you can get rid of him if he does absolutely nothing. And what do you do with Cordero Patterson?
Same. You just got to hold him. I mean, you can't trade him right now. He's coming off a terrible game, 5 carries. Everybody saw it. Everybody's freaking out. Like, I mean, if you could package Patterson and Sutton and get a decent player in return, sure. But neither of these guys have a lot of value right now.
I think he's fine. You know, obviously everyone was disappointed last week, but I think he's going to be fine most weeks. He's not a guy you're just going to start every week going forward, but he'll have his moments. I think he's still got value. What about Anthony Villeda? Got Tua, Chubb, Stevenson, Aaron Jones, Kenneth Walker. Very nice. Higgins, Godwin, Cooper, Christian Watson, and Kelsey. Looking to trade for Pat Mahomes and Jamar Chase. Probably not at the same time.
All right. Big. Go big or go home.
There you go.
I mean, are we going to assume that Pat Mahomes and Jamar Chase are on the same team and he's going to make an offer to one player? I guess we're going to assume that.
I mean, you put them together, so I guess. I mean,
you're probably going to have to give Tua, so they at least have a good quarterback in return. You can't just expect them to trade Pat Mahomes with no backup plan. I mean,
if you have Stevenson, probably trade Stevenson.
Yeah, Stevenson. You got Jones and Walker and Chubb. Probably trade Stevenson, and then maybe try to throw in like Godwin.
I think that's a good conversation starter. I mean, obviously your strength is you got 4 really good running backs, and you don't need 4. And if you're looking to get guys like Mahomes and Chase, you're going to have to give up one of those running backs. Yeah. Stevenson is the guy, or maybe Aaron Jones because he's coming off that huge game. And then, of course, you have to give up Tua. If you're getting Jamar Chase, I'm okay. You're not worried, I'm assuming, having Higgins, Chase, and relying so much on Bengals.
Yeah, that's fine with me. One of them will probably go off, and the other one will probably be fine. So,
yeah. All right. There you go. Let's see if that works. Speaking of the disappointing Broncos, would you drop Jerry Jeudy for a guy like Paris Campbell, Christian Watson, or Collins? This is from Abel. Easily.
This is the problem. We don't know. Like if Jeudy, let's say Jeudy misses this week, but then he's back. Do I like any of these guys more than Jeudy?
I mean, you can't love Jeudy right now, but I don't think I like Paris Campbell over Jeudy.
Yeah, what's the difference between him and Paris Campbell? Like, or maybe Watson has more weekly upside, but he also like has more weekly bust potential. Nico Collins, like, that's deep leagues only, really. Like, I don't dislike Nico, but it's got to be a really deep league.
Probably Watson.
Yeah, I mean, if I was gonna drop him, probably for Watson, but you know, I don't know. I don't know if I'd do it.
I mean, he's not out multiple weeks or anything like that. But man, just this whole Denver offense. I mean, after last week, I already said, like, I'm just giving up. I mean, he had the bye week to fix it, to figure out he had a great matchup. It was just everything was in place, and it was like it's the same old thing. So you can do it. Take a shot on Watson. The hell, why not? And it looks like Abel coming from Mexico. We have several viewers there. Saludos. Thanks for joining us. Ali also was with us, I think, on Saturday, trying to trade to get Kittle. All right. Who do you package? Own Devontae Smith, Gabe Sutton, Rashad Mostert, Mitchell. Yeah, you want to keep Mitchell, Dillon. So who can we trade to get Kittle?
I mean, I'm going to assume that the person who has Kittle has Andrews or Kelsey, and they're willing to trade Kittle.
Right.
Because if like I have Kittle, and then I go look at the waiver wire, and I'm looking at Robert Tonyan, whatever, guys like that, I'm not trading Kittle. Like, no way. So I'll assume that he has like Andrews or Kelsey.
Well, I mean, looking at this, yeah, it would have to be a 2-for-1 because there's no one player here that you were going to get Kittle for straight up, probably 1-for-1. So you had to put two guys together, but then again, Sutton has like no trade value right now. Mostert has no value. Mitchell, you might as well keep. Dillon has no value. I don't know. Do you trade Rachaad White to get Kittle?
No. I mean, again, even if I'm starting Robert Tonyan or whatever, like I probably still would prefer Rachaad White. I'll just roll with my 5 points from Tonyan. You know what I mean?
5 might be generous.
Yeah. Because it's not like Kittle's going out there getting you 20 every single week, right? He's getting you like,
well, that's true.
And if Rachaad White really does break out here in the second half, you're going to wish you had him. I mean, maybe Devonta Smith. He's coming off a nice game. If the guy doesn't need Kittle, like if he doesn't need Kittle, maybe he does it, but.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I would say maybe look if I'm assuming these are your bench players, which is why you're saying you can trade them. Maybe just throw Gabe Davis out there, like a Gabe Davis and a Mostert, and see if that's enough. Otherwise, I don't move on it. I wouldn't give up Rachaad White, and I doubt they want those other players. Look, they want to take Sutton or Dillon, like let them have it. But
yeah,
realistically, I would say throw Gabe Davis and then say pick Mostert or Dillon. Who do you want? All right, Asian Artifacts. Desperate. Right. Should I offer Eckler for ATN Lamar? Got an offer of Josh Jacobs or Wandale for Henry.
I would do Jacobs Wandale for Henry.
Yeah, I wouldn't trade away Eckler right now.
No, I'm not trading. And I don't know what you mean by desperate, like you have to win this week. But if you're desperate to have to win this week, you don't want Etienne and Lamar because Etienne's not playing.
Yeah, you want Eckler.
Yeah, you want Eckler. But I would take Henry over for Jacobs and Wandale. I would definitely do that.
Yes.
But Etienne Lamar for Eckler, I'm not doing that. I'm keeping Eckler.
Yeah, I'd keep Eckler. And then if you're getting Henry for Jacobs Wandale, take it. Take Henry.
Yeah.
All right, and then Michael Kobus, trade Devontae Smith for Hollywood Brown because you got Diggs and Waddle and DPJ as a flex. I mean, obviously you don't have Waddle this week, but that's okay. Do you do this?
I do this. I think Marquise Brown will be better week to week than Smith. I like Smith, but we've seen it. Like he has games like he had last night, and then he has games like he had the last 2 weeks. And, it's kind of one of those guys you don't know what you're going to get week to week. I'm not worried about Marquise Brown's target share when he comes back, especially with Zach Ertz out now. Yeah, I'll take Hollywood Brown.
Yeah, look, Devontae Smith really thought he'd be doing more by now. I don't know what the deal is. Yeah, shoot for the long-term play. Hollywood, hope he comes back for the playoffs. All right. Let us go to this one. Got this one out there. You'll enjoy this one. Jif Boy Gaming. Should I trade Zeke for Pitts?
You lost Ertz. I guess. Why not? I mean, I don't think Zeke is any better than Pitts. Like, yeah, sure.
I knew that would have elicited a very lukewarm response. Look, I mean, like Zeke and Pitts, those names sounded really great in draft day, but yeah, it doesn't matter. All right, welcome back, George Plementerus. Always active on the chat here. So, am I starting Mitchell and a Pittsburgh running back this week with all those guys on bye? I think they're startable. Or, okay, Gus and James Robinson on waivers.
Well, James Robinson's... Oh, no, they're back this week, right? No.
Yeah, they're playing the Patriots.
Oh, wait, that's right. They're back this week. Yeah, but they're playing the Patriots in New England, right? Aren't they on the road?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not playing James Robinson. I'm not playing Gus Edwards coming back, even if he plays coming back from injury. I'm fine with Mitchell and Najee. I think Mitchell gets at least enough run to be usable.
I mean, Najee's still startable. Like, just go with Najee. That's fine. I'm not going with Gus. If he's healthy, and if so, it's probably gonna be more Kenyon Drake than anything. James Robinson, not a great matchup. Like, he'll need a touchdown. I don't think he'll get a touchdown. So I'm fine starting Mitchell and Najee. So are you starting them? Yeah, I guess so. Fields over Hurts this week?
I think you have to. It's Atlanta. You have to.
And not because of what happened last night. Oh, Hurts didn't look great, and the Eagles. No, that doesn't matter. But Fields, obviously been the top quarterback. It's the matchup. You got to go with the matchup. Look, it doesn't help that Dallas Goedert is now out. That's not going to help Jalen Hurts' numbers. Drop Pitts and it hurt. It should feel good. I think it should feel kind of like cleansing, that you get rid of Pitts. Although I haven't dropped him on my league yet. So. All right, super chat from Trevor Christensen. I'm going to look and see if I find a question attached. If you find it first, let me know.
All right.
Trevor. Oh, wait. It's back. It was right above George's.
Okay.
Traded Aaron Jones for Mike Evans and Dalton Schultz. Is that a mistake?
No, I like that for you, especially if you need a tight end. You get a good tight end. You get a really good wide receiver. I would take Mike Evans over Aaron Jones rest of the season anyways, and you got Dalton Schultz with it. So I like that trade for you.
Like, that's a win for you. And you still got Dalvin Cook, Swift, and Wilson. You're pretty good at running back. I think that's a good trade.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Shrek 2 on DVD. Very specific there. Drop Dalton for Matt Ryan.
I'm going to assume this is a super flex or 2 QB league, but you can drop Dalton for almost any quarterback. It's like, what are we going to get from? First of all, he might get benched for Jameis Winston finally, but even when he doesn't, it's like, oh my gosh, Andy Dalton is playing like Pierre's high school team, and he gets you 10 fantasy points. Like, just 10. Not 15, not 5, 10. You just get 10. That's all you get. Yeah, I'd rather have Matt Ryan for sure.
My high school team was pretty good for a really small private school.
Maybe it's 9.5.
Guys that are all 5'6".
9.5. They have a good defense.
Yeah. Drop Dalton for, and then fill in the blank there. All right, Joseph Barnes. Appreciate everything in our Patreon. Well, of course, that's why we're there. Killed by buys. Who would have thought teams like the Jags and the Seahawks,
right?
But the Dolphins, of course, and their high-powered offense. So, would you drop Edward for Pacheco? Are we talking Edwards like Gus?
I assume so, and yes, definitely.
Definitely not worried about Gus Edwards making a big impact this week, and Pacheco is one of the top pickups this week. So if that's the case, yeah, definitely do that. Good luck. Tracy Wood. Okay, 7-3, awesome. Have Lamar, Kamara, Barkley, Juju, Ayuk, Olave, Dotson, Wandale. I guess probably Khalil Herbert, likely Waller. Got Fields and Kmet. Okay, good. You're good at tight end. I was going to say Waller and likely, but you got Kmet. But Cup. Okay. What do you think we need to do here? You look obviously without Cup. Juju might not play this week. What do you think?
Yeah. Well, first of all, drop Herbert, pick somebody up like Pacheco, Elijah Mitchell, some of the guys we talked about, or Christian Watson. I think you could drop Waller. He's on IR.
Yeah.
You can drop Waller. Same thing. Pick somebody up. I'm dropping Likely. Like, I mean, you're not going to start him over Komet, even if Andrews is out. So you can drop Likely as well. Pick somebody up. Shore up that bench. You could probably drop Dotson. Shore up that bench a little more. As far as like trades go, look, you have Lamar. Trade Justin Fields. Go get you're not going to get a Cooper Kupp for Justin Fields. You're 7-3. Okay, like we talked about it. After this week, Justin Fields has a brutal schedule until week 17. Like, this is the time to trade him. You're not going to get a Cooper Kupp, but you can maybe get, like I said, like you need a wide receiver. You can get like a DK Metcalf, maybe even somebody better. Like, you can get somebody like that for Justin Fields right now if the person needs a QB. So that's what I'd be doing.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, maybe not now, but maybe like a Hopkins type. Yeah, somebody like that. I mean, you don't need both those quarterbacks. Everything you said, basically, I agree with. Yeah, clear out some space there, some of the dead weight. Look, if you have at least one IR spot, which I hope you do, put Cup on it. You can drop Waller. You can drop Likely. You can drop Herbert. You don't need to stash those guys. I guess you can hold Drake, but all right, let's keep going. Hopefully that helps. All right. Still catching up, guys. Stick with us. We are actually getting pretty close. And then we'll go back to some of the regular chats once we're caught up on the super chats. Okay. Sorry, I'm a sucker for the names. I love it. Smooth Criminal Entertainment.
All right.
I'm very curious as to what Smooth Criminal Entertainment puts out. But anyways, would you trade Rachaad White for Garrett Wilson?
No way. No way.
Saying.
No way. I like Garrett Wilson. He'll probably be fine, but the path for Rachaad White is way bigger, way better.
It's an interesting idea. I'm just throwing it out there. And we got some chats from Barter Mania. You remember he paid it forward the last time we had our live show on Saturday. It's interesting. Fix your lineup for the playoffs. Should we do one like that?
Yeah, I mean, I guess kind of did that with the trade videos, right? Like that was kind of my like aim with the trade videos. It wasn't to necessarily be like, because Devontae Adams is not a buy low. Like Derrick Henry is not a buy low. Christian McCaffrey is not a buy low. It's more like, hey, if you have like Joe Mixon, who has a brutal schedule, and you could trade him for Derrick Henry, who are pretty much comparable, you fixed your lineup for the playoffs. That was kind of like what my aim was for that. I know it's not like specific for your lineup, but yeah.
Well, and you're talking about fixed lineup like for start sit, and we will still do start sit throughout the playoffs.
Yeah.
And I think this year, I'm just going to commit to this right now. I think we'll even go all the way through week 18 because there's a lot of people who do play, unfortunately, with the playoffs still in the final week of the season. So I think we'll probably get enough views for that. Here's another one, I promise, and then we'll go back to the super chats. Bigfoot Silver Hide and Seeker. I don't know.
Somehow the fantasy gods smiled on us, and Jeff Saturday said, "I'm here to win, baby." Putting Matt Ryan in.
Well, I think he's gonna. I mean, why would he go now? Why would he change back from Matt Ryan?
You can't now.
Can't now.
You just won. Like if you switch back now, that's basically like you might as well come out and say, "Well, Jim Irsay came down and said, what are you doing winning the game? You put Sam Ehlinger back in there, right? Like you can't go back now."
Who knows what is going on there? All right. Scott McCaffrey with the super chat. Thank you. Lost Cup, 10-team league. So hopefully that hurts a little less. 3 receivers. Grab Rondell Moore, Pittman, Wilson, Lazard, Williams, or Keenan. Is that Mike Williams?
Wait.
It's Mike Williams. You got to pick up Mike Williams.
Yeah, but you're saying that all these guys are on waivers?
That sounds like it.
Yeah, if that's Mike Williams, you got to pick up Mike Williams. He'd be in my number 1 there.
Who would be your number 2? Would it be Keenan or would it be a guy like Lazard?
If Keenan, like if I had seen Keenan back and play and make it through a game and not like, leave it at, play the first half and not play the second half, then I'd probably say Keenan. But man, he's just, if all these guys are on waiver, I don't need to take a risk with Keenan. I'd probably go Lazard or Pittman number 2.
And then this, besides maybe wanting to go like in a 12-team league next year, you also got to get some IR spots in this league. Talk to your commissioner. So if there's no IR spot, do you drop Cooper Kupp?
I don't think I can. I mean, unless we hear something that the season's over, because if you drop Kupp and then they do bring him back like week 15 or week 16 and somebody else grabs Kupp, you're never going to forgive yourself. So I think, unfortunately, you have to just hold them unless we hear like one day if they come out and say, yeah, that's it, they're shutting them down. But I think you sadly have to hold them.
And the only thing I'd say, we don't know how deep your bench is. If you're asking like which of these guys to drop Kupp, if you don't drop Kupp, then who are you dropping? I guess is the question. Because if you need somebody to be in your starting lineup, I don't know. Maybe you have to. Maybe you have no choice because you've got no IR spot. Maybe you don't have a lot of bench spots either because these guys are all on waivers. Maybe these are just really shallow leagues. I don't know, but
yeah.
I mean, I think, like you said, you would hate never forgive yourself if that happened with Kupp. But I don't think we're going to see him play this year. All right, Suni. Starting Burrow, Foreman, Gibson, CD, Devontae, Pitts, Mike Williams. Benches Zeke, Godwin, Jacoby, Rondale, Patterson, Walker on bye. Picked up Rachaad White and Kmet. Well done. 4 and 6. What do you think?
Well, I mean, you got to win this week. You're 4 and 6. You can't take the L. So, I mean, I would definitely play Kmet over Pitts.
Yeah. You got to put Kmet over Pitts, I think.
Yeah. And I'm trying to see, like, do we like Foreman or Patterson more? Well, I definitely think I like Patterson more than Gibson. I know it's
Houston. I was going to say, I think you got to put Patterson over Gibson. I know it's the Texans, but still.
Yeah, I think I go Patterson over Gibson. I'd probably go Foreman, Patterson at running back. CD, Devontae, you're leaving that. Kmet over Pitts. I don't know if you have a flex, but if you do and Mike Williams is back, I'm flexing Mike Williams.
Yeah, it looks like Mike Williams is the flex, and you would go with him over Godwin, Myers, Rondale.
Yeah, you're 4 and 6. You got to shoot. You got to score points. You got to win this matchup. You can't. You know what I mean? You can't be banking on your opponent having a bad week or something. You got to win. And, Godwin, okay, he scored last week.
Godwin's on bye. I just remembered.
Well, that's true. He's on bye. But I was even going to say, he scored last week, but what did he get you with the touchdown? 16 with the touchdown? 18 with a touchdown? So without the touchdown, he's getting you his usual 10 to 12, basically. Right. So, but he's on bye too, so yeah.
So put Patterson over Gibson, put Kmet over Pitts for sure. If Williams plays, you play him. If not, who would you like? If Williams doesn't play at all, who would you flex, Myers or Rondale?
Got to flex Rondale this week.
Yeah, agree. All right. We're now in AJ Hall, 7 and 3 in a PPR league. Got Allen Diggs, Waddle, D-Hop, Swift, Slim at RB. All right, so trade options. Who could you get for D-Hop? What kind of a running back? You think you could get Dalvin Cook?
Yeah, I think you could get Dalvin Cook. I definitely think you can get Dalvin Cook. You got Diggs, you got Waddle. I mean, I guess you're not going to play it. Like, you only play 2 wide receivers, I'm assuming, if you're going to trade D-Hop for Cook. Or, I mean, you definitely need a running back. If Swift is your number 1 running back, you certainly need a running back. So I think you could get D-Hop for Cook.
Yeah, so Cook would be a good one. Obviously, you're throwing him out there. You think that you can get Cook. Maybe the person who has Cook is interested in Hopkins. A couple other names who are comparable. You think maybe Dameon Pierce, is that enough? Maybe Aaron Jones or Mondre?
Nah, for D-Hop?
Yeah.
No, I need more for D-Hop. I'm not taking those guys for D-Hop. I mean, even last week with what's that?
Josh Jacobs.
Yeah, I'd be fine with Josh Jacobs. I'd be good with Josh Jacobs. Maybe even Derrick Henry, if somebody's willing to do it. Because D-Hop has been really good. He's scoring a lot of points. Even last week, he scored a lot of points at least. Didn't like really rack up the yards, but he scored a lot of points.
All right, so yeah, do that. If you can get Cook, I think that's fair.
Yeah, I think it's fair.
Juan Tifa, what is up? Got space for one waiver wire pickup because you're getting Rashad. Well, that's a good one. So Tony, Watson, or DPJ?
Yeah, it's close between. I actually have this decision in another league, and I'm debating between Tony and Watson.
I put DPJ last out of those three.
Yeah, he's last for sure. It's between those two, and I think I might go with Tony. He's on the Chiefs offense. Juju concussed. He's probably going to see more work this week. If he sees more work and he looks good again, that means he's probably going to see even more work. I think I go Tony.
I think I have to go Tony too. I mean, look, the Chiefs, Pat Mahomes, I feel better about him being involved and being productive. I know Watson obviously has the higher ceiling because we saw his ceiling. And Tony is never going to be the lead guy or one of the lead guys there, but I definitely feel better about Tony putting up points. I could easily see Watson putting up nothing again or something. He's always banged up too. Like, it's always like, even now he's questionable. Like, what did he do? He's just always questionable. So I'll go with Tony. All right. Asian Artifacts with another one. What else to do? 12-man PPR got Dak, Eckler, Jacobs, Rashad, the Sun God, Godwin. Gonna pick up Tony or Watson. Well, we'll say Tony. Andrews, Mitchell, Brady, Madison, and Wandale.
Well, I don't know why you don't need Brady. You can drop Brady.
Yeah.
Pick up Tony. Honestly, for your team, like, I'd probably drop Wandale for Watson. I'd drop Brady for Tony, Wandale for Watson. I'd rather have those guys over Wandale. Wandale's fine, but he's not going to ever have a huge ceiling, right? He's just going to be like one of those guys like,
yeah,
I need some points this week. Let me put him in my lineup. So I would drop Brady and Wandale and pick up Tony and Watson. Pick up both those guys.
Yeah, I know I kind of hyped up Wandale in the middle of the season, and he was good for a couple of weeks, but now Darius Slayton is the guy I'm more interested in because he's been getting the targets, and he definitely has a higher ceiling because he makes those big plays. I would just say, look, you get a running back. You know, a receiver, you got two good ones, but I don't know who your third receiver is. I don't even see one. If it's Wandale Robinson, yeah, you need some upside at receiver. So like you said, drop Brady, drop Wandale, get those two guys. Yeah, that should be good enough, though. You don't need to do anything drastic to this team. All right, Chris back again. Chris KD, that is. Last one. Offer Dalvin Cook for Freiermuth and Monty. Would you take it?
I mean, if you're getting Dalvin Cook, definitely. So you have Walker, Cook. JT, and Cook as your running backs? Yeah, that's pretty stacked right there. That's pretty good. Yeah. I'm assuming you have a tight end that you can play that's comparable to Freiermuth, which, you know, it's not like Freiermuth is some elite tight end. So, yeah, definitely do that.
Yeah, if I remember, he was saying early he had like 3 good tight ends for some reason.
Like, oh, that's right. That's right. Because you're going to trade Freiermuth and get like not enough or something, right?
Yeah, somebody needed a tight end. It was going to, like, you know, give away a running back. But now he's a different guy who has had Goddard. So, yeah, that's a great deal. Do it.
Yeah, do it.
That's a good question. Kobe Kwong, why everyone so high on Christian Watson after one game?
I mean, look, I'm with you on this. I'm with you. This could definitely be, like, I'm not going crazy for Christian Watson, but you want to add him because you never know. Like, remember last year, people said, why is everybody going so crazy for Amon-Ra St. Brown after one game? And it ended up being a lot of games. Like, the fact that the potential, again, at this point in the season, you should be shooting for the players that are going to turn your teams from great, like from good to great, or from great to unbeatable. And Christian Watson has that potential. Maybe he won't, but it's worth adding him and seeing.
One thing you'll hear us say a lot, especially now over the last few weeks when the playoffs come, upside wins championships.
Yes.
Upside. All these teams, especially, and if anybody here plays best ball, we talk about this in the Discord. These teams that are winning are not the ones that had with the team that looked so great before the season. It's the guys that have these spike weeks, the guys that all of a sudden are coming out and haven't been consistent fantasy starters all year. No, they had 3 or 4 amazing boom weeks. That's all you need. Now, obviously, if you're not playing best ball, it's a little different, but still, you have that guy who can score 20 plus points, 30 points. That matters a lot more than having a guy who can get you between 10 and 15 every week. Like that doesn't win. All right, what do you think about this? D-Hop for Etienne.
I think it's very fair. I think if you need a running back, you take Etienne. If you need a wide receiver, you do D-Hop. Very fair.
Yeah, that's pretty even on both sides. So I think you can do that. Humberto, welcome back. Humberto Saucedo. Trade. Oh, we got a defense question. Here we go.
All right.
Trade. A defense trade question. Would you trade the Philadelphia defense to get the Baltimore defense? No, I would
probably not. I mean, I know Philly defense, didn't look good last night, but I'm not too worried about them. If I had to just hold a defense, I'm holding the Philly defense. And
I guess he says he's worried he has his own top running back, Jonathan Taylor, going against his defense. That's not a reason.
Yeah.
Not a reason. Look, it's possible that Taylor has a big game and your defense also has a good game because they get sacks, they get interceptions. I mean,
yes,
you don't have to worry about that. Definitely don't trade because of that. Now, as far as playoffs, round 1, you would have your QB against Philadelphia. Again, don't worry about that, right?
Yeah, don't worry about that.
No. And
play the best. And then look, Philly might not even be the best defense in Week 15. I don't know. I haven't looked that far ahead, but you might want to play a different defense in Week 15.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Philadelphia got a little exposed, but look, if Jordan Davis comes back, that'll help. It's still a good defense, so don't worry about that. You'll be fine. All right, so here we go. Let's do a couple more of the regular chats. Pick up Njoku or Hunter Henry?
Njoku, definitely.
Definitely Njoku. Henry is not really fantasy relevant. And then Jay Kang, thank you. Appreciate that. Start 2, sit 1. Jamal Williams, Chris Godwin, Chris Olave.
Start 2, sit 1.
You can't start Godwin this week.
Yeah, that's right. Godwin's on bye, so I guess you're starting Jamal and Olave.
Yeah. The easy one. Here's some of the easy ones. Here's another easy one. Best tight end to pick up, because we kind of did this earlier at the very beginning of the show from George Henry Sosa.
Komet, if he's available. He's the best tight end to pick up.
Komet choice 1. Higbee probably next. I mean, I don't know who else is available on there. Deep sleeper would be Trey McBride, but yeah, hopefully one of those two guys. And Joke is a good pickup, but we don't know if he's going to be back for sure this week. So you might want to go somewhere else. Dorn Smitty with the super chat. Let me see if we can find. Oh, here it is. All right. So here are the receivers. Got Jet, Godwin, Olave, Wandale. All right. Yeah, I don't know. This is a 10-team league. Yeah. I mean, that's solid, but let's see. Campbell, Collins, Burks, Dotson, and I guess Jamison Williams are available.
I mean, a 10-team league, should be able to do better. You should be able to,
Would you drop Wandale for any of those guys?
I mean, maybe you could drop Wandale for Burks and hopes he pans out, but none of these guys really in a 10-team league.
Yeah, I like Burks, but I don't love him in fantasy. I like him better in Dynasty. Dotson, I mean, maybe I would drop Wandale for Campbell. That's not going to be necessarily a league.
Yeah, and then I got a message from Michael who missed his super chat back apparently, but I found it.
Oh,
so here it is, and then here's his question.
Oh, what's up, Michael?
Michael won by 0.7. Whew. Was that?
He had Hurts and Brown. Man, lucky. That's all I can say. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good.
Yes, and I'm sure we've all had it go the other way, right? So it always feels good when it goes your way, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I can only imagine being the guy that had Hurts and Brown and got nothing from them. Yeah. Look, that's fantasy. That's all you can do. All right. Now I'm not going to count this as spamming. I've seen this about 20 times, but I like that you're spreading it out every few minutes. So let's go and answer finally. ASM 28 picked up Watson, Tony, and Slayton off waivers. That is clutch. Look, I'm gonna brag a little bit. I picked up Slayton and started him in one of my leagues and got me some points. Should you move any of my main wide receivers, running backs? Got Henry Jones and Walker, AJ Brown, CD, and DJ Moore.
I mean, you should move DJ Moore, but you're not going to be able to move DJ Moore unless you move him to the waiver wire, probably. So, like, I mean, I'm not trading Henry or Aaron Jones or Walker just to trade them. And I'm not trading AJ Brown or CD Lamb just to trade him. You definitely don't want to trade AJ Brown right now coming off a bad game. So, I mean, should you? Yeah, if it makes your team better, but I'm not going to do it just to do it.
Yeah, you don't mess with those receivers. I mean, well, you can mess with DJ Moore, but don't mess with the other two receivers. And it's not a bad thing to have a really stud third receiver or running back, I should say. So I think you're good. Nah, don't move just for the sake of moving. Judson 6.0, currently 7-3. Thanks. Oh, trading Fournette for JT. That's looking pretty good now, isn't it?
Yeah, very good. Well done. Well done.
All right, let's keep it going. Hopefully get into playoffs, top seed. All right, George with another one. George, Jefferson, Cooper, Mooney at the flex. Would you drop Mooney to grab one of those guys instead?
I would. I mean, again, I'm gonna say Tony is my number one. I just think, again, I'm shooting for the upside here. He's on the Chiefs. I think he'll be more than playable this week as well because I don't think Juju's going to play. But yeah, like Mooney is fine. Mooney's fine in like deeper leagues where you're starting like multiple flexes and you need that guy like that can get you those safe points. But in like shallower leagues like this where you're only starting like 2 or 3 wide receivers, you want that upside. So yeah, I would drop Mooney for Tony or Watson personally.
And it's funny you think about it. He's going against Atlanta this week. It should be just the smashiest of smash spots for Mooney. But he went against Detroit last week and didn't really do that much. I mean, he's been given kind of a floor, but where's the ceiling? I mean, they are the most run-heavy team in the league. So none of their receivers are really going to be in a great spot. Now Claypool's in the mix, and now Pringle's back. So, and you'd think it should be Mooney, but I agree. I'll take the upside. Tony, I already said I like Slayton, but one of those two guys. Look, if Juju doesn't play, then yeah, go Tony. Baby cow. Would you trade Fields, Barkley, Foreman for Hurts, Cook, and Kittle?
No. You're getting a downgrade at running back from Barkley to Cook. Fields Hurts. I think in the long run you're going to prefer Hurts over Fields. So I mean, but it's not like a huge difference. I mean, Kittle, like, not enough of a difference maker at tight end for me. He's fine. You're starting him every week, but he's not like Kelsey or Andrews. So
right,
I'd prefer Fields, Barkley, and Foreman.
I see it's tempting to have the guy, I'm getting this really, really good tight end. But that's not a league-winning move. He's a guy who's up and down. You know what I mean? Just when we thought he was back, and now CMC's in the mix, and Devo's back. So, yeah, I don't think it's worth sacrificing, Barkley. You think, it's not a big drop to Dalvin Cook, but I feel better about Barkley.
Yeah, so, much better.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Got a super chat. Welcome back, Sabesan. I hope I'm saying your name right this whole time. If I'm not, let me know. And then here's the question. Got Gibson and CPAT this week. Ryan Robinson, Melvin Gordon on waivers. Deontay was dropped. Would you drop Pittman or Everett to pick up Deontay Johnson?
No, definitely not. Like, what are we expecting from Deontay Johnson, honestly? Like, no, I'd much rather have Pittman. I'd probably, honestly, rather have Everett than Deontay Johnson. So yeah, no.
And you're saying he's got Hopkins, Devontae, Pittman, and Diggs. Yeah, I mean, is Deontay Johnson ever going to crack your starting lineup?
No.
Yeah, so you're good.
You're good.
And then as far as Robinson and Melvin on waivers, you can very clearly ignore Melvin Gordon. Robinson, I don't know. Would you like Robinson over Gibson, though?
I don't know. I mean, I know he got more carries than Gibson, but Gibson's still the only one catching passes. Like, Robinson's still not catching any passes. So, I don't know. I'm not picking. I'm just letting you know. I'm not picking up Robinson. I'm not. Like, they obviously had a game plan. Just run the ball. Maybe they'll have that game plan again this week because it's Houston. But then what about after that? Then he goes back to being a guy who runs for 3 yards a carry, gets maybe 15 carries. Like, no.
Yeah, it's kind of a coin flip, and I don't know if it makes a big difference either way. So you're fine with Gibson. All right, Kalen Emsley, top 2 to keep or pick up. Got Palmer, Keenan, Samuel, Mooney, Jeff Wilson, Judy, I guess Deontay Johnson, and Watson.
I mean, are these guys on waivers?
Well, is this keep/pick up? So I guess just picking up, like, maybe you already have I don't know. So I guess it's just this top 2. Which 2 do you like the best? I don't know.
Probably Jeff Wilson and I guess Keenan, and hope he actually plays this year. Maybe Watson. Nah, I don't know if I could put Watson over Keenan.
I mean, I guess Keenan, because look, if you feel like he's going to play this week, then yeah, you want Keenan over Palmer. If we know Keenan's not playing, I'd rather have Palmer.
Yeah.
But if these are just waivers, like probably not starters for you, I go Jeff Wilson, and I guess I go Keenan. And look, with all those choices, if Keenan does just never plays again, well, you can drop him and you can get Christian Watson. Well, probably not Christian Watson anymore, but you can get Josh Palmer.
Exactly.
And then Kelly Appleton, standard 10-team league, 3-7. Ouch. Got Fields and Gino, Cordero, JT, Andrews, DJ Moore, Josh Palmer, Komet, Gus, Pacheco, Hines, and Jamar. All right. Trade Andrews for a top wide receiver. What do you do here?
I mean, you might need to. You got to win this week. You got Komet. I mean, Komet's not going to be Andrews, probably, unless he keeps going nuts like he's been going. Yeah, because you're not gonna improve this team with DJ Moore and Josh Palmer as your wide receivers. That is not gonna get it done. And Jamar probably not coming back this week. So, yeah, I think if you could trade Andrews for a top wide receiver, I think that's a good move. And just play Komet.
Yeah, you have to do something. And this is a 10-team league. I mean, I get JT was kind of killing you earlier in the season. But, yeah, that receiver group needs a big boost. You definitely need to do that.
Big boost.
Big boost. All right. Let's see where we're at here. We're at George Cook. In a half PPR, single quarterback. Got Burrow and Fields. All right. Another dilemma here. Do you trade Fields, A.J. Brown, and Dameon Pierce for CMC and CeeDee Lamb?
Fields, A.J. Brown, and Dameon Pierce.
For CMC and Lamb.
So you got Burrow. So this is for you, for your team. This is essentially A.J. Brown and Dameon Pierce for CMC and CeeDee Lamb. I think I do this. This. Yeah, CMC a big upgrade over Pierce. I still like Lamb more than A.J. Brown. It's close, but I think I like Lamb a little bit more. Yeah, I think I do this.
This looks like it could be one of those win-win trades where both teams are happy because, look, you're upgrading at both positions. And obviously, whoever you're doing this trade with wants Fields, needs Fields maybe. I think it's a pretty solid trade. This is a good one. But, yeah, I think it does help your team. All right. We're falling behind again. Let's catch up. Guys, stay with us, by the way. Notice we're going to try to answer as many of these comments and questions as possible. It's just not possible because there's so many. So that's why the Super Chat feature is there. That gets you to the front. We will answer all the Super Chats guaranteed before we go. Still be on for a little while. Try to answer waiver wire questions, of course, first because waivers run tonight. Look, this might be your last week to make a trade. Get those trade questions in now. Go watch the trade videos if you haven't already. Watch after this. Let's keep going here. We got Louis C with another one. And here it is. All right, so forgot to include his bench. I remember this from way back. We might have to revisit it. But got Devontae Smith, Rondale Moore, Harris, Mitchell, and Schultz. Oh, man, the veto thing.
Yeah. I don't remember the original. I don't know how far back it was.
We're gonna have to go back and try to find that. All right, Louis, we'll go back and we'll look for your original one and we'll put some context to this. So yeah. All right, we're gonna keep going here. Oh, Scott McCaffrey with another one. Also with some more info from before. Dropping Cup. His team is 7-3. Only 6 teams out of 10 make the playoffs. Worry the Rams will look. I already said I think that's what's going to happen. I don't think we see Cooper again this year.
But you drop so if you have Cooper Kupp, are you dropping him?
Maybe. I mean, it depends how deep your league is.
I'm telling you right now, I'm not dropping Cooper Kupp.
No, I mean,
if they say to shut him down for the season, then I'll drop Cooper Kupp.
I mean, I think that's what's going to happen, but no, you can't drop him just yet.
Yeah.
Push comes to shove, it's too risky. All right, Michael Kobus with another one. 12-team PPR 5-5. All right, need some running back help here. Who could you package? You got Allen, Mitchell, Pollard, Diggs, DPJ, Dulcich, Marshall, Walker, Waddle. Okay, yeah, goes on bye. Hollywood Brown. All right, so you need running back help. Well, if you're starting Mitchell, then yeah, I mean, you got Walker here. Look, I'm going to say it again. I'm going to try to sell high on Pollard and package him with somebody else.
Yeah, package Pollard and I don't know. Pollard and
who is that's the question.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Peoples-Jones. I mean, people are kind of talking themselves into Peoples-Jones right now because he's kind of been coming on. He has a nice playoff schedule. You're not going to get like a stud if you package those guys, but you could get at least get a Miles Sanders or somebody like that, like an every week RB2. Because I do, unfortunately, when Zeke comes back, which could be this week, I think we're going to have to watch Zeke plot around doing nothing while Pollard, unfortunately.
Just looking at this roster too, I'll say, Michael, you drop Jimmy G. You don't need him if you have Josh Allen, and drop Conklin. Take some flyers on wide receivers. If you get a Christian Watson type or Tony, you're just somebody, but you do not need Jimmy G and you do not need Conklin. You might need an upgraded tight end. I don't know who's out there. Look for somebody else like a Foster Moreau type, a little more dependable than Dulcich at this point.
Oh, so here was Louis C. So he did the trade where he traded Fields and Jacobs for JT. We said probably should have gotten more or done Fields and Stevenson for JT, but I guess he was saying that they vetoed his other trade.
Yeah. Okay, keep that one, and then so you have Smith, Moore, Harris, Mitchell. I mean, that's fine. I don't think that changes too much. Wanted more. Okay, look, the veto thing, I get it. I understand why people have that, but it's just so annoying. Veto should never happen unless it's clearly collusion or just completely moronic move by somebody. It has to be just very lopsided.
It's like somebody's trading Saquon Barkley, and another person is getting Melvin Gordon, and it's obvious that okay.
Yeah, but again, you could have got a little more. It's not a terrible trade, and I think your team will be fine going forward. I think you got a good squad there, Louis. All right, so we have one here from James Fiore. Let's see if we can find it. It's right here. Oops. All right, 12-team. I just lost it. I had it and I lost it. Gave up Waddle, Komet, and Singletary for Lamb and Swift. You like it?
Yeah, I don't hate it. I mean, I'm assuming you don't need Komet. I'm assuming you have a better tight end than Komet. You probably grabbed him off waiver wires when, I don't know, maybe somebody was on bye. Singletary is just going to be what Singletary is. Like Swift, maybe Swift never gets it this year. Maybe his role never increases. But at least he has a potential to do significantly more. Singletary has no potential to do anything more than he's done all season. That's just who he's going to be. So I like it because even if Swift never does anything more, like Lamb and Waddle, that's pretty close. So, yeah, I like it.
I like it. Yeah, Lamb and Waddle, pretty even. Slightly prefer Lamb.
Yeah.
Look, take a shot on Swift outperforming Singletary. It's not going to take much. All it takes is him staying healthy and getting just a little bit more involved in the offense. And the Komet, you probably just scooping them off waivers and you flip them. So that's a good move. I like it.
Mm-hmm. I like it.
B plus. I don't know. It said rate, so I just give it a grade. Rashad Maniac. That's Chris's alter ego. Rashad White Maniac. That should be your username. All right. Lost Cup. Got JJ, Gabe, Myers, Watson. Think I'm okay?
No, I mean, look, I'm not trying to be. No, look. Nobody who lost Cup is okay. You can't. You're talking about a guy who has a 18-point floor with a 30-point ceiling. Like there's only a handful of guys in like Cooper Kupp, and look, it sucks. It sucks. But you want me to lie and say you're okay? Or you want me to say no, you're not okay? You lost Kupp. You can't you lost Kupp. I mean, you got JJ, so that's good. But I mean, you're not. You still lost Kupp. Sorry, you lost. It sucks. But it is what it is.
Just say, look, it's okay to not be okay.
Yes.
It's all right, it happens. Stuff happens. It's not, that's the problem here is somehow it's amazing that Kupp has been able to do what he's done. This offense is so bad. Even if he lost, let's just pretend Josh Jacobs, out for the season, you could pick up Zamir White and say, look, he's talented. He could do some things. You could replace him and it won't be maybe the same. Who knows? There's no replacing Cooper Kupp. There's nobody on this offense. We're hey, maybe Allen Robinson. Really? So
yeah, no.
All right, Anthony Vieira again going for Mahomes and Chase. That's right. Remember this? Said Stevenson. Why him instead of Walker or Chubb? Why would you trade Stevenson instead of those guys?
Because I think Walker and Chubb are more valuable than Stevenson. I would prefer to keep Walker and Chubb. That's why.
You want to keep the guys who you think are going to be better, but Stevenson's value, his trade value, it's not the same, but it's not that far off from those two guys right now.
Yeah.
At least most people would agree. The thing is, Kenneth Walker has zero competition for touches and carries. Zero. Nick Chubb, well, we thought he did, but he doesn't. Kareem Hunt is just kind of there. Nick Chubb is just a beast. Stevenson, when Damian Harris is healthy, he's still going to be involved. That's the thing. And this Patriots offense isn't as good as even Cleveland and Seattle. So that's why. And then we got True Gentleman for you. But I don't see a question for us. So I'm going to keep looking. But now I see it. All right. Offered Hop and for Aaron Jones. Sorry. So I guess we're talking about Hopkins for Jones. Have Barkley, Stevenson, Foreman. You need a stud receiver because you got Olave, Kirk, Pittman, Juju, and Sutton.
So is he saying that he
got offered? Maybe
that he offered Aaron Jones for DeAndre Hopkins? That would make more sense.
I'm interpreting this as saying he got offered Hopkins for Jones.
Yeah, then I would definitely. I mean, I would take Hopkins over Jones anyways. I know Jones has been great the last 3 games, but let's not forget, he wasn't so great for a long time too. These things have a way of turning again. You know what I mean? And Hopkins has been pretty good pretty much almost every week he's played. So I would take Hopkins over Jones anyways, but especially for you got Barkley, Stevenson, and Foreman. Yeah, you need Hopkins.
Yeah. Fair trade helps your team. I say do it. And then Luis Ortiz, welcome back, Luis. Regular chat member here. Got Njoku, Juwan Johnson, Moreau, or the Friar Goat. Who you like? Non-PPR. Non-PPR. This matters.
This does matter.
Because I think we would both say in full PPR it would be Freiermuth.
Yes.
But if it's non-PPR, I mean, is he scoring touchdowns?
I don't think so. Is anybody on the Steelers scoring touchdowns?
Moreau actually scored a touchdown. Juwan Johnson scored 4 times in the last 4 games, but are you really going to take him over these guys?
No, it's either. I think I'm going to go Njoku, assuming he's healthy. Njoku's been racking up yards, and it seems like when Njoku catches a pass, it's not like a 5-yard pass; it's like 20 yards. So he's been racking up the yards when he's healthy. I think I would go Njoku in non-PPR.
I'm going Njoku as well. Like this week, just because we don't know if Njoku will play, this week I might go Moreau. But going forward, rest of the season, I'll go Njoku in non-PPR. All right, and then Jay Drummer Kid. How to improve 9-1. Well, you probably don't need to improve that much. Got Mahomes, Devontae Adams, Evans, Sun God, Singletary, Stevenson, Kelsey Palmer, Swift, Rashad White.
I mean, kind of do like wow, 9-1 and with Swift is pretty impressive. And Michael Thomas. Well, you could definitely drop Michael Thomas. He's out for the season.
Yes,
he's not coming back. You
can drop Watson if you have Mahomes.
You have Mahomes. You drop Deshaun Watson. You don't need Deshaun Watson. Drop those guys. Is Pacheco out there? Somebody like that you can get off. Elijah Mitchell, because it looks like you're going to need running back help. I mean, I like Stevenson. I like Rashad White, but I don't know if you want like those guys carrying your team. Hopefully Swift can get back to that, but who knows if that's going to happen or not. So you need to like play the waiver wire, pick up those running backs. You don't need Deshaun or Michael. Well, you definitely don't need Michael Thomas. He's out for the year. And you don't need Deshaun Watson. You have Mahomes.
Yeah. Drop Eno, drop Watson, drop Thomas. You need help at running back. I don't want to trade any of those receivers, though, to upgrade. I would try to package Palmer right now while you can. Look, maybe you package Palmer and Swift to get a stud running back. Somebody might do that. You don't know. I'd rather have a more reliable running back, but that's the only thing you really need to do there. Or Singletary. You know what? He's coming off a 2-touchdown game. Maybe there's a time to trade Singletary. I mean, you're not going to get a stud for Singletary and Palmer. Maybe Singletary and Swift for somebody who needs, quantity at running back over quality. Give it a try. Quick one here. You can drop Khalil Herbert.
Yes.
Armando Orozco. Lost Ertz, have likely. Would you pick up Komet or Foster?
Komet. It's always going to be Komet is going to be the answer, unless your other options are like Schultz or Kittle, which probably aren't. It's going to always be Komet. Yes.
Yeah, I'd prefer either of those guys over likely because Andrews coming back, and even with Andrews was out, likely, he had that touchdown, but that's all he did. I mean, that was his only catch. So Komet is the first choice here. Tua on bye, Jimmy G or Goff.
These are your choices. I guess Jimmy G. Like, at least he has weapons. And he can always like throw a screen pass to Debo. He could take it to the house. He could throw a little pass to McCaffrey. He could score. Kittle's an end zone threat. Ayuk's an end zone threat. I guess I go Jimmy G.
I'm going Jimmy G. And he didn't throw any touchdowns last week. But remember, Chargers, again, one of the worst run defenses in the NFL, actually second worst. They didn't need to pass it. And they weren't putting up points either. So as long as Arizona is competitive, they'll at least need to pass a little bit. All right. What's up, Michael? Michael's back. Okay, you got Pitts. Is McBride a good pickup?
I mean, probably you got Pitts. You might as well pick him up and see what happens. He can't be worse than Pitts.
Can't be worse. I mean, look, he's riskier. Obviously, the guys we already talked about. Komet would be your top choice. Foster Moreau is a little better. Hayden Hurst might be out there because coming off a bye. Those guys are priority, but obviously they're probably not out there if you're asking about McBride. I think McBride's fine. Okay. Karen Johal. Let me see if there's a quote. Oh, here it is. Okay. Lost Cup. Remember, it's okay to cry.
Yeah.
Josh QB, Amari, Evans, Stevenson, Montgomery, Hawkinson, Claypool, Drake, Robinson. Trade suggestions.
Again, we had a team like this earlier. This is the problem when you lose a guy like Cup, because you can't trade. It's not like they say like, okay, Cup might miss like 3 to 4 weeks, and then like, okay, maybe you need to win, and you can go to some team who's in first place and say, here's Cup, hold him for 4 weeks and give me like 2 good players back so I can win. You can't do that with Cup. It's pretty much like, so now you have Amari, you have Evans, you have Stevenson, you have Montgomery. You don't really have a lot here, because if you trade, like the players that actually have a lot of trade value right now, Amari, Evans, and Stevenson, if you trade them, like you need them. You need them. You know what I mean? Like you need those guys, because if you trade like Amari for a running back, now you're looking at Evans and Claypool as your wide receivers. No, you're not doing that. Like if you trade Stevenson, Montgomery's now your RB1. No, you're not going to do that. You know what I mean? So it's just, yeah, it's okay to cry. It's okay to cry.
Yeah. I hate to say, I don't know what you can do with this team, really.
It's just so tough. Like, again, the Cooper Kupp situation, because it's not like Jamar Chase a while back where it's like, okay, he's probably going to be back, or like even like Hollywood Brown, guys like that where it's like he's probably going to be back, and if you needed to, you could trade them because people know they're going to come back. I'll hold them. I can wait. It's not the case with Kupp. It's terrible. It's just a loss. It's just like a loss. That's it.
And I will say, and it's hard to know, your league and the specifics. This is a good example, I'd say, guys. If you're not already in the Discord, join it. It's free. You can post, and a lot of people do this all the time. You can make polls, ask this or this, kind of get a pulse of the community. You can post screenshots of your entire roster. People do this all the time, 2-3 screenshots. Look, here's what this other guy has, or what I have. You can throw out all sorts of suggestions, ideas. We get a lot more info and detail on your team, your situation, and you get advice, not just from us, but from a lot of the very smart people in our community. So, I say that because I wish I could say we could help you more, but I'm not sure what else to do with this team.
Yeah.
All right. So, this is our favorite username, Smokey DeBurr.
What's up?
Smokey DeBurr, and now my favorite comment of the night. Just here to say thanks for turning my trash team around.
You're welcome, and good job. Way to go. It always feels good. Some of my favorite, like, honestly, some of my best teams at the end of the season started off as some of my worst teams. I remember I had a team one year, won the championship, and I didn't have a single player on the team that I drafted. Not one. I just traded, worked the waiver wire, and had a totally different team by the end and won the championship. And I remember somebody in my league was like, that's not even fair. I didn't even draft anybody on this team, and you won the championship.
No, almost. I mean, maybe in a shallow league, like you play like 8-team leagues, which you shouldn't. Like maybe, but usually leagues are not won through the draft. It's not. That's why we do this. You have to be active, waiver wire especially, but also trade. I mean, and look, if you're watching us and you're thinking about all this, you're analyzing, you're probably the smartest one, the most knowledgeable in your league, and that gives you an advantage. Use that and make trades and get an advantage. Yes. Keep doing it. I made a trade this year. You can trade every week if you want. Like, you just keep trying to make your team better. That's it. All right. Asian Artifacts. Now, with another chat, I like this one. Traded Goddard and Garrett Wilson for Andrews last night, right when he got injured. Is that a dirty move? My league is on the fence of vetoing it.
No. If the other person accepted it, look, it's bad luck for the other person. Like, just terrible luck. It happens, but no, I don't think that should be vetoed if the trade was already accepted. Now, if it was after he got hurt and you made the trade knowing he was injured and your opponent didn't know he was injured because your opponent isn't watching Monday Night Football, then I'd probably say it's dirty. But if this trade was made before he got hurt, then I think it's just bad luck.
All right, well, he said right when he got injured. So I'm thinking of, like, he's watching the game, right? And he's like, oh man, he looks hurt. Send trade offer. That's the way I'm interpreting it. Is
I
that
mean,
what
maybe,
happened?
but you got to remember, Andrews finished the game. Like he finished the game, so it seemed like okay, he dodged a bullet, he's fine. I don't know, like yeah, but I mean, who accepts Goddard and Garrett Wilson for Andrews anyways? Who accepts that?
I mean, Goddard's been really good all year, so all right. I don't know. Look, to me, all's fair. Like if you're watching the game and he's not, maybe you deserve the better end of that. That's the way I see it. All right. Firearm addict. Fields, Taylor, Wilson, CD, Amari Cooper, Andrews, Devontae Pickens. And on the IR, Mike Will and Njoku. Got Tua, Jalen Warren, and Hines. I don't see a question. Are we rating this team or looking for ways to improve it or what?
I don't know.
I guess we'll see both.
Okay. Rating wise, I mean, you got Taylor, but then you got Wilson. Running backs could use some work. CD Cooper, that's good. Andrews, that's great. You got Smith, you got Pickens, you got Mike Will. I mean, you're definitely good at wide receiver, especially when Mike Williams comes back. You got Njoku. I mean, I guess hold him just in case Andrews. It's fine. You got Fields and Tua. So really, this is a pretty good team. Just needs some help at running back, I think. So I'm going to say an 8.
Yeah, and that's the thing is really good starting squad, but there's no running back depth. I mean, you really plugging in Jalen Warren as your starter if you need him. Well, look, I mean, who are you starting this week? If you got Jeff Wilson as your RB2, are you starting Jalen Warren?
It looks like it.
Yeah, Hines, you can cut Hines. I mean, you don't need Hines. Take a shot on somebody else. Yeah, problem is I don't want to trade Cooper. And I don't know if that, like, Devontae Smith's trade value isn't super high right now. You got Williams coming back, so, but I don't sacrifice one of those guys just to improve my RB2. I guess roll with it the way you are now. I don't make any big shakeup to this team, so I think you're good. All right, Fisher Russell. Traded Terry and JFJ.
What was that? I don't know. The only one I can kind of think of is Jeff Wilson, but well, that third J is throwing me off.
Yeah, that's throwing me off too. I'm trying to think. All right, well let's see. JFJ.
Who is JFJ? If you guys know who JFJ is, put it in the chat.
Justin Fields Jr. No.
Justin Fields Jr. Maybe is he a junior?
Yeah.
Who's JFJ, guys? Does anybody know?
Someone throw that out there because I'm at a loss.
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna say, yeah. See, people are saying Jeff Wilson. That's the only thing I can think of is Jeff Wilson. Oh, okay. He commented he's half asleep. Jeff Wilson. He said I'm half asleep. Half asleep. Okay.
I feel you there. All right.
That's kind of what I thought, but I was like, that doesn't really like. Okay, so here you go. So traded McLaurin and Jeff Wilson Jr. for Amari. Win or loss for the playoffs?
I mean, I like Amari over McLaurin rest of season. Let's look at the team. Because Wilson, he's looking good. You got Burrow, DK, Amari, Jacobs, CMC. Okay, so you're not starting Jeff Wilson. I think that's fine. I think it's fine. Look, McLaurin's looking better lately, but I definitely trust Cooper a lot more.
And here's the thing about Cooper. Well, here's the thing about Cooper, because we now know about these home road splits, right?
Well, this is true.
Okay, so in the fantasy playoffs, he gets Baltimore at home. How many points is Amari Cooper going to score against Baltimore at home? Like 30 or 40?
Yeah. I was going to say 25. 30 is reasonable, though.
Then he gets New Orleans at home. How many points is he going to score against the Saints?
32.
At home. Yeah. Now he does play Washington on the road in Week 17, but at least it's a good matchup with Washington, right? It's a good matchup at least. So,
and we have to remember he's going to have Deshaun Watson, not Jacoby Brissett. So,
maybe the home road split for Amari Cooper is really Jacoby Brissett and not Amari Cooper, right? Maybe Jacoby Brissett is just really terrible on the road.
Well, now we're going to have to look into that. We're going to have to do a whole thing on splits. But anyways, I think that's fine. I don't think it's a big overpay. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, that was Fisher's. All right. I guess that is a compliment. Thank you, Seth. If you're not, okay, here we go. We'll put this one up there. You're not on the Discord. That's a good question.
Yeah, what are you doing?
Are you doing?
Do you even like fantasy football if you're not in the Discord?
And like as soon as we get off of here, we're gonna go jump in the Discord to answer some more questions.
Yeah, definitely.
And then I think
veto the veto. Come on.
I will say this too. I'll just throw this out there now. We're gonna expand. We have a couple of endgame leagues we have from this year. We're gonna have a lot more next year. We want all members of this community to be in good competitive leagues. All right. So we're gonna have all sorts of leagues. We're gonna start up on Sleeper, but you have to wait for next season for that. All right, another one from Sabesan, and let's see. Here it is. Okay. Kyler Murray out. I'm guessing you're talking this week. I think he's coming back, right?
I mean, yeah, we'll see how he practices. I feel like he'll probably play, but you never know.
And somebody made an interesting comment. Don't remember. It's probably Nate or Jimmy. Somebody in the Discord about watching. They have the Hard Knocks in season.
Yeah, I watched that too.
Okay, and there's something about how he was talking to the trainers, like, "Oh yeah, it's bothering me." Like, what was the deal there?
Yeah, like on a run, he like had a nice scramble, and then he went back to the bench. Like when I don't know, I think they scored maybe like a field goal or a touchdown. He told the trainer, like, "Yeah, I tweaked it a little bit, his hamstring." But he did have that other run where he fumbled at the end of the game. Remember, they caught him from behind and fumbled. So it wasn't like he couldn't run.
Yeah,
but I do think they maybe were a little conservative with him last week because they knew Stafford probably wasn't going to play because he got that concussion. He entered the concussion protocol on Tuesday, which makes it almost impossible for you to play on Sunday. Right. So I think they were probably like, okay, Colt McCoy, he's good enough. John Wolford is not good enough. We can win this game with Colt McCoy. So I think we'll see him this week, but you never know.
And they did. I mean, they were right. So no, I think he plays this week. And if he is, pick up Russ. I mean, you should be able to say, "Oh, go with Russell Wilson. He's pretty safe. He's in a great spot." But
yeah,
that's what we thought last week.
Okay, I will say this about Russell Wilson. in week, what week was it? In week 2 or 3, it was week 4 in Las Vegas against the Raiders. He scored 27.48 fantasy points. Now the Raiders have been awful against every QB they have played. Now he gets the Raiders at home. I mean, I get it. If you're like, I don't care, I'm not starting Russell Wilson. I get it. But I mean, he's done it before against his defense, and now he's at home. I'm just saying.
Well, okay, look, if Kyler Murray plays, I'm still playing Murray. If he's not, and you have to pick up one of these guys, if between Russell Wilson or Daniel Jones, I guess I go Russell Wilson.
I'm going Russ. Call me crazy. I don't know, but it's the Raiders. They gave up 19 fantasy points to Davis Mills.
This is true.
He's at home. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm just a sucker.
Well, no, and it's not like they're a team that can sit back and run the ball, like a team, like even Houston, have a really good running back. Well, Denver doesn't. So I guess Russell Wilson has some hope there. All right. Run, CMC, run. Waiver wire, Mike Williams, Boyd, or Tony. If Mike Williams is on your waiver wire, pick him up, guys. Pick him up.
Yes, if Mike Williams is on your waiver, you got to add him. Have to add him. Must add.
All right. And then... All right, well, same user, different question. I think it's an interesting question. So let's put it up there. Trade Deontay Foreman for Christian Kirk.
Yeah, I'd do that. I mean, I'm going to assume Deontay Foreman is like your RB3 or RB4.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
I mean,
Kirk does have a tough playoff schedule, but still, you're not going to start Deontay Foreman in the playoffs, I hope. So, yeah, do that for sure. Definitely do that.
I'd take Kirk, yeah. We got a new user here, Niner Chief. Asking about the Discord. We got the link down below, don't we?
Yeah, so we don't have it. I can't just give you the link, go to here, because it's some weird code that Discord gives you. But if you check any of our videos or the link in this video, you'll see the link to the Discord. install it in like a minute, sign up in like a minute, and you're in. Totally free.
Totally free, easy. All right, so JB really asking for help here, so let's do it. My team is Burrow, Tua, Barkley, Mixon, Stevenson, Jamal Williams, Kittle, and Njoku, Mike Williams, Sutton, London, Palmer, Gallup, Burks. Who should you drop? You want to drop somebody? Well,
I mean, I'm going to assume it's not super flex or 2 QB, and I'm going to say drop Tua. Like he's on first of all, he's on bye this week. I know it pains you to hear that. I know it pains you,
but it's true.
He's on bye this week. You got Joe Burrow. Like, there's no reason to hold Tua, and like, yeah, maybe there's a like I think they have a couple. I think Miami has like 1 or 2 more really good matchups, but then like I said, we get into the fantasy playoffs, it gets brutal. I'm sure Tua will still be okay. Like I'm not like not starting Tua in those matchups, but man, you're not gonna want to start Tua in those matchups if you don't have to, and you don't have to. So I think you can definitely drop Tua. Is one you can drop. I don't really see anybody else. I mean, London. I think you can drop London. I would drop London. I have no problem dropping. If somebody wants to add London, I'll let them. It's fine.
Yeah.
Those are the 2.
All right, there you go. Hopefully that helps. And Niner Chief has a question. This is an interesting trade. Kamara, Fournette, and Knox for McCaffrey. A 3-for-1.
I would do it. I mean, Knox, like, come on.
Yeah,
Knox should just be on your waiver wire, honestly. So really, this is Kamara and Fournette for McCaffrey. Kamara's fine, but he's not McCaffrey, and Fournette might be less than fine here pretty soon. We don't know. So, I mean, you're getting a big upgrade here at running back. I would do it.
Yeah, I think you can do that. I mean, Fournette, definitely not what he used to be. Michael Fawcett's still on with us. All right. Defense question, your favorite, Dallas or New Orleans?
I mean, it's hard for me to say no to Dallas, and it's hard for me to say yes to New Orleans. Dallas gets Minnesota. Who's New Orleans play?
I mean, the fact that they gave up 20 points to Pittsburgh, I think that tells you more about how bad they are, because Najee almost ran for 100 yards against them. I mean, I can't.
They get the Rams this week without Cooper Kupp, so I guess I see it, but still, it's such a bad defense.
Yeah, I can't. I'll go with the defense that actually has some playmaking ability. I'm going Dallas.
Yeah.
All right, Lack has been asking for help. Some trade tips here. Kamara, Pierce, Patterson, Wilson, Tyreek Adams, Amari Godwin, Christian Kirk. 8-man. This is an 8-man league.
Yeah, this you definitely need to do something, because Kamara, Pierce, Patterson, Jeff Wilson, that's good in like a 12-team league. That's not good enough in an 8-team league. Tyreek Adams, that's good, but then Amari Godwin, Christian Kirk, like you need better running backs in an 8-team league, no doubt about it. Look, even in an 8-team league, there's people who need Justin Fields right now.
Right.
I would package Fields and one of those wide receivers, maybe Christian Kirk. He's coming off a couple of really nice games, and try to get a stud running back. Find a team who has, CMC Barkley and Kenneth Walker, or CMC Barkley and Etienne, or Barkley, Chubb, and Walker. There's going to be teams in your league who have running back teams like that for sure that need a quarterback. Give them Fields, give them Christian Kirk, get one of those running backs.
And if you really need to, I would be okay. And you prefer Lamar, I would be okay. You keep Fields, and if Lamar has more trade value, maybe you trade Lamar, because people will probably more likely in an 8-team league to want Lamar, which makes sense. Get a stud running back in return. I think it's worth it, because Fields might be just as good. Brian says he's got Higgins and Kamara for Adams and Gus. I take the Higgins Kamara side, because
even if you're heavy at running back, I would still take the Higgins and Kamara side. Like, it's just too big of a downgrade from Kamara to Gus.
Right.
Like,
it's almost
even if you're heavy at running back, you never know when you're going to have an injury, and now you're going to be turning to Gus Edwards instead of Alvin Kamara. You know what I mean? And that's not going to be fun. So I don't mind trying to do this if you're heavy at running back, but Higgins and Kamara is too much for basically you're just trading for Adams.
Yeah, and I'm obviously Adams over Higgins, but it's not a huge, massive drop. Although Adams has been pretty dominant lately, but still, you're giving up Kamara like an RB1 and a pretty much wide receiver one for a wide receiver one. Yeah, try to get something else in return other than Gus. All right, guys, we're almost to the end here. We'll do a few more lightning round. I've been on about 3 hours, and I think we're all caught up on the super chat. So, and then run CMC run. Thanks. Wow, ever. That includes like National Geographic.
I know. Wow, like History Channel. I don't know, like math. What's that? There's like that math channel or whatever, Mathonomics or something. I don't see. Obviously, I don't watch it.
Khan Academy.
Yeah,
we're like the Khan Academy for fantasy football. I'm just kidding. I
don't even know what that is, but sure.
That's a teacher thing. All right. How do they find us in Patreon?
Go to patreon.com/fantasyfootballendgame and you find us. We have different tiers there. Get different perks, different things with it. So patreon.com/fantasyfootballendgame. And yes, also
we have a little
link for that is in every video, in this video, all the descriptions of every video. But patreon.com/fantasyfootballendgame.
I said, actually, I don't even know why I'm asking. I can look for it. Do we have a little ticker for that? A banner?
We do. We have a little ticker. We got a little ticker. It's right here. Boom. There's a little ticker. There you go.
Yeah.
Weekly rankings, waiver wire pickups, members only live show. Also, all throughout the off season, we did a lot of stuff for running backs in the off season. We did like best ball drafts. If you guys are into that thing, so keep it going all year long.
There you go. All right. So appreciate it. One more super chat here, and then we'll do a little lightning round to finish. A-Rob over Rondale Moore or Watson? No.
Who do I prefer between Rondale and Watson? That's the question.
I don't know. I've come around on Rondale. I think he's getting the targets. Ertz is out now. Marquise isn't back, so I'm going to give the edge to Moore because honestly, we don't know what we're going to get with Watson. He could have a huge game this week, or he could just drop the ball, or he get hurt again. So I'll go with Rondale Moore for now. Like if Watson goes off again, okay, maybe kick yourself, but at least you know you're getting something with Rondale.
Yeah, I probably go with Rondale too, but definitely both over A-Rob.
All right, and as usual, just when I thought we were almost done, we have like 3 more super chats. Let's get to those.
Appreciate it.
Ali H, would you get Kittle for Sutton and Mostert?
So you're getting Kittle and you're giving Sutton and Mostert. If Sutton's like your wide receiver 4, like you already have 3 other wide receivers that are better than Sutton, and you need a tight end, I would do it because Mostert is just like a handcuff at this point, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, you can't say Sutton's like an every week must start. So I think that's fine. If you need a tight end, you can do that. Humberto jumping in at the very end. I think he likes to do that. He always likes to wait to be like the last super chat. All right. Lost Goddard got a trade offer for Schultz for Garrett Wilson. I like that.
You need a tight end. I'll gladly give up Garrett Wilson for Schultz. Yes, if I need it.
Yeah, because again, Garrett Wilson not a guy you're starting every week necessarily. Schultz, really solid tight end. That's a good trade. I think it's a fair trade. Yeah, I would do that for sure. And then Chris Kelly. And if you see Chris Kelly with a question, let me know because I don't see it.
Let's see. Yeah, I don't see it. Chris, if you have a question, you might have asked it way, way up there. If you want to type it in again for us.
Oh, here we go.
Got it.
Came in. All right. So got Kyler, Geno, Deshaun, Jefferson, Higgins, Amon-Ra, Judy, Etienne, Pierce, Swift, Williams, Schultz, Taysom Hill. Drop somebody for Rashad White.
Yes. I mean, any of those QBs? I mean, unless it's super flex. Is it super flex? Like maybe it's super flex. I don't know. But I don't really understand why you'd have all 3 of those QBs if it's a 1 QB league. Like I get why you might have Geno and Kyler. Maybe you picked up Geno last week because Kyler was out, but I don't understand why you'd have Deshaun if it's a 1 QB league. So if it's a 1 QB league, drop Deshaun Watson. You don't need to hold Deshaun Watson or Rashad White for sure.
Yeah, you don't. I mean, I get it. If you want a backup quarterback, that's fine, but you don't need all three of those guys. So
No.
definitely though, the first waiver wire priority worth using for Rashad White. Yes, he's the kind of guy it's worth using.
Yeah.
I wouldn't use it for Christian Watson. It's just
No.
a little too risky there. You never know, guys, who gets dropped. I mean, people do crazy things. People drop in, Mike Williams because he was hurt for a couple weeks.
Happened in our league.
Exactly. And then Quinn says question is coming, so we'll wait for that. We'll always remember Quinn. He was the one who started out, what was it, 0-5, 0-6 or something, finally got the first win, and now he can't stop winning. All right.
Now he can't stop winning, yeah. Here you go. So here's his question.
Got offered Burrow, AJ Brown, and Sanders for Hurts and Lamb.
Who are your running backs? Chubb, JT, Etienne. I mean, okay, so Sanders isn't. Here's the thing. I don't mind this trade because Lamb and AJ Brown are close to me. I probably slightly prefer Lamb, and it's close. Hurts and Burrow, close for me. If you needed a running back, like if you had, let's say, Chubb and, I don't know, like Tyler Algier was your RB2. I'd probably do this because Sanders would help you out, right? Like Sanders would help you out. But you got Chubb, JT, and Etienne. You're never going to start Miles Sanders. Never. So really, you're just downgrading when you don't need to. So keep Hurts and Lamb.
Yeah, exactly. Sanders doesn't do anything for you, and I'd rather have Hurts than Burrow. I'd rather have Lamb than Brown. So yeah, don't do that.
No, don't do that one.
But it is worth saying, not that you have Gus Edwards, but he's in the playoffs right now, and it's going to just keep getting better. So
that's right. Maybe you'll get all the way up to that bye. You never know. Go on a run here. Get that bye.
And then Henry Marte, welcome back, Henry. Van Jefferson, Peoples-Jones, or Allen Robinson?
I think in this case, I'll go Allen Robinson. I have no hope for Van Jefferson. I know he caught that touchdown last week, but Peoples-Jones is fine. But like we know we're getting Peoples-Jones. I'll gamble on the fact that maybe they throw it to Allen Robinson more than 5 or 6 times with Cooper Kupp out. So I'll go Allen Robinson in this case.
I'll go Allen Robinson too. I'm not trusting Van Jefferson until I see something happen. Yeah. But I kind of like Peoples-Jones, but probably a little more in real life than fantasy.
Yeah.
So I'll take a shot on Allen Robinson. He's got to get targeted, right?
We'd hope.
All right. So I hate to say we're going to have to close up shop here. Let's do a few quick ones, this non-super chats, because we're caught up on the super chats.
How about this one? You must know from the way you talk or the things you say that you're a teacher. Because you're right.
Either a longtime viewer or in the Discord or something. I am a teacher for now.
For now.
All right. No rookie question. Berto says my rookie question. Look, that's exactly why we do this, because sometimes you're not sure. I mean, we've been playing fantasy football longer than some of the people on here have been.
Yeah, probably.
So just say that. That's actually true.
Sad but true.
All right. Do you want to pick any out, or you want me to just grab a couple? This is the lightning.
Yeah, I'll see something. Try to look for maybe like some waiver wire ones here.
This one, I'll do a quickie. Mark Labib, can you drop Palmer? Don't drop him unless you know for sure Mike Williams and or Keenan Allen are playing. Because if neither guy plays, then you still want Palmer. But if
I would say you can drop them, but don't drop them to pick up like a flyer type player. Like if you're dropping him for Rashad White or something like that, yes, you could drop Palmer to get Rashad White or Pacheco or something, but don't drop him to get like, Donovan Peoples-Jones or somebody like that.
And guys, if you have start sit, I see a lot of start sit questions. You come with us on Saturday. We're going to be here just as long, 5 to 8 Eastern, and answering all the start sit questions. Same thing as this. So we will be live again. Don't worry.
Yeah. Do we have any Okay, I think we kind of did this one, but we'll answer it again. Tony or Christian Watson on waivers? Who do you prefer?
I'm giving the edge to Tony. Better offense, better. I mean, I think it's fair to say better quarterback this year, and I definitely feel better about him being involved. So I advocate for Watson, put him on the waiver wire video first, but I'll go Tony.
Yep, we'll see on Saturday. Anthony, looking forward to it. How about this one? I know we did this one a lot, but maybe for the people who came in late, Higbee or Komet, who do we like better?
Komet. Higbee will get targeted. He's not scoring touchdowns, and this offense just got a lot worse. If that was possible, they were already one of the worst in the league. So just imagine that.
Are we dropping Garrett Wilson for Rachaad White?
You can drop a lot of people for Rachaad White, like Garrett Wilson, but I like Rachaad White, who is now still running back in a primary role. Yes, love that.
Definitely. Then we got this one from Domination Station. Just saying 8-2. Thanks for the help. Thank you. Appreciate it. Keep it going. It's not done. You're not done yet. Gotta always be working and grinding.
Yeah, guys. No celebrating until you get that championship. But yes,
right.
We're gonna keep it going. By the way, Nintendo 64, best console ever. I'm not just saying that.
I never played it, so I don't know. Sony PlayStation was the last console I played. Then I was all PC after that, and then I didn't really play.
Well, PC is the best gaming platform, but we're not going to get into that debate right now.
No, definitely not.
No. All right, we're good. I think we're good.
All right, this one last one right here because this is interesting. Is Kyron Williams worth a stash? Last one. No. He was worth a stash when we didn't think Cam Akers was going to be a Ram anymore, but now it's like a terrible three-headed committee with a terrible offensive line who are now missing their best offensive player. No.
I mean, unless Sean McVay looks and man, there's no Cooper Kupp. What are we going to do? Let's just dump it off to the running back 10 times a game. Yeah. Instead of Higbee, it's Kyron Williams. No. Yeah. Sorry. All right. Let's end with this with Quinn. Let's ride Indeed. That is exactly what we want to do. All right, guys. Saturday starts it. Join us. Always here to try to help you win. That is our end game. You can join the Discord. We've talked about it a lot. The link will be forthcoming. If you haven't already seen it in the chat, patreon.com/fantasyfootballendgame. Already talked about that. And the link is down below on the scrolly thingy. And so also don't forget, we're now sponsored by Manscaped. If you're interested, manscaped.com, check it out. Use promo code ENDGAME. And even if you're not just really in the market for personal grooming items, it would help us out, just like being a patron. If you just want to support us, you could do that. Throw us a like, subscribe, all those things. We appreciate you.
All right, we got one more last super chat here from Rob. He said, no, I think he was leaving. Don't worry, we'll do your question real quick.
All right, so traded.
He also said this.
As I'm closing, the music's playing or playing us out. Okay, don't worry, we got you. This looks like a massive trade. Okay, Herbert, Kamara, Adams, Hunt for Josh Allen, Diggs, Ramondre. He says the guy panicked because of the Josh Allen thing. I think I won this trade. Okay, what do you think?
I think so. Josh Allen over Herbert for sure. Diggs over Adams, yes. But it's not huge Diggs over Adams, but Diggs over Adams. Ramondre, Kamara, pretty close to me. Hunt, just kind of a throw-in. I think you won. Yeah, I think you won. It's not completely you destroyed them, but you won.
Yeah, the quarterback that's the main thing. Diggs, Adams is pretty much even there. Ramondre, Kamara, looks like it's pretty even, surprisingly. But yeah, I think that's a slight victory. But what I love is the thought process here. You took advantage of a guy who was panicking, and that's his own fault. We heard last week, right? Somebody else traded Josh Allen for nothing. And it's oh, maybe I shouldn't have done this. No, you shouldn't have. But
yeah, no, you shouldn't have.
That's the way to do it, guys. That's the way to get those victories. Always making smart moves, getting ahead of the game. All right.
I think that's it. I think we're done. I gotta eat. My stomach is making noises over here.
Yeah. All right, guys. We will see you. Yep. Join the Discord. Get all your questions answered. We'll see you in there. We'll see you on Saturday.
Yep.
Good luck in week 11.
See you guys.